Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your watch along for Manchester United versus Newcastle, and we have got some very interesting team news coming out as Manchester United make a couple of changes that we probably didn't expect. So you should be able to see the screen, the team on the screen there. It is the team that we have got coming in for Manchester United. A little bit. Oh yeah, we are live now. Sorry, it just takes a few seconds sometimes. So Manchester United line up with David De Gea in goal, and we've also got Dalot, Varane, Martinez, and Luke Shaw, Fred and Casemiro, Sancho, Bruno, Anthony, Ronaldo, no Rashford, no Eriksen. So look, my initial reaction to this is surprise. I think surprise is the word. I don't think Fred played very well on Thursday night, so it can't be a form thing. But the fact is, Eriksen's not on the bench, so it has to be an injury thing, which terrifies me because he is the one player we cannot afford to not have. And we have got 3 massive games, and not having Eriksen is big. Rashford's on the bench. Look, we have got no Martial on the bench either, so that bench looks scary. Heaton, Lindelof, Malacia, Mainu, Pellistri, Iqbal, Elanga, Garnacho and Rashford. So Garnacho, Elanga, Iqbal, Pellistri, Mainu on the bench. We've got 5 youth players basically. We've got 3 senior pros, Lindelof, Malacia and Rashford. We are thin. And I think that I'm excited to see some of the younger players on the bench. I think that's always a good thing. But unfortunately, it's not a surprise. It's not a reason to get moaning, unless you want to moan at how the club's run. We always knew there were elements of this team that were wafer thin, and we are wafer thin. Like, Eriksen is clearly injured now, so we don't have Eriksen to play, and we have to play Fred. McTominay is suspended, of course. So Just Keevan says he's moaning. I would moan about the board. I would moan about the club. I don't think you can. It's not like Ten Hag's woke up feeling sexy and gone, I'm dropping Eriksen and Rashford just to be a hipster. He clearly squad depth really bites. This will be a problem, says Treble Champ. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, Bruno is overrated, so why not put Eriksen in attacking midfield, says Nathan, because not fit. He's not fit, mate. So we are where we are, and we're not surprised about this. Let's be honest. I'm surprised about Eriksen. I'm worried about Eriksen. I'd love somebody to give us an update on Eriksen and let us know, the impact of why he's not here. Now, as I said, when I heard that Fred was starting, I think I tweeted it and said, "What's that all about? What is that all about?" I mean, funnily enough, we are actually sponsored by Manscaped on the show today. And, I thought, what's he doing? He's trimming the squad to make it look bigger. But he's not trimming the squad to make the bigger. Remember, you can get your Manscaped products for 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code UnitedStand. Scan the QR code there. We'll talk more about that in a bit. David De Gea gets 500 games today. Amazing achievement. Love the guys. Just Rathmath Math Fitness. Yeah, I do want to talk about that in a bit as well. Subbo, thanks for being a member for 4 months. We've got a new member in Jay Holds, and Pre has been a member for 3 months. Getting Varane is starting. So look, we do need to talk about the team, of course, and that's what we're here to do with this breaking news that Fred starts because Eriksen, I presume, is injured. I can't think of anything else. Eriksen is not available to play. He's not on the bench, and therefore Fred comes in. I find this exciting. No senior midfielder on the bench. Good luck to the youngsters today. Manos look good for the youth, says Joshua Bowater. Welcome to the Members Club, Blade Runner. We've just got to go out. We've got to go out there and get the result. That's what we've got to do. But I don't think the moaning about the team selections actually holds any weight. I'm with Joshua on this because Eriksen's not fit. McTominay is suspended. You're always going to have to play Fred with Casemiro. The interesting thing for me was when I heard that Fred was starting half an hour ago, I was like, how can this happen? And I was thinking, is it because we've got 3 games in 6 days and he's rotating? Clearly, that's not what's happening because Eriksen's not even on the bench. My concern is Eriksen back for the Spurs game? Is he back for the Chelsea game? Because suddenly 3 difficult games becomes a lot more difficult with your most fundamental player in the attack. I think the defence has been good this season, but attacking-wise, Eriksen's the player that links the midfield and the attack. So it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a tough game. This is why we shouldn't have sold Garner, says Hasha. Hi from India, says Geeta. So, yeah, look, I think that it will be a difficult game, but we can't moan too much because let's not forget that Newcastle, we heard yesterday that Newcastle are out without St. Maximum. So we've got an update coming here from Ten Hag about Christian Eriksen. Ten Hag says that Christian Eriksen is out through illness and Marcus Rashford is also on the bench because he's feeling under the weather. So illness is the issue for Rashford and Eriksen, which is good news and bad news. It's bad news that they're not available. I think both of them would have started. So that explains the Rashford thing, which I was going to talk about, because obviously Sancho coming into the team, I don't think Sancho did enough on Thursday to make Rashford be dropped. And clearly Eriksen and Rashford are out of the team for illness. There's nothing you can do with that. It probably, I'm not saying probably actually, it could be COVID. There's a lot of COVID going around at the moment. I mean, I didn't do a test or anything, but I felt crap, as you know, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there could well be some sort of COVID outbreak or illness or whatever. I don't know. That's good in a way because it won't be long term. It doesn't mean either of them are back for the Spurs game, but you would hope that they would be back for the Chelsea game. And of course, Rashford's on the bench. So Pranay says, what's going on with Eriksen? He's actually ill. Vortex Gaming, welcome to the members club. Geeta says hi from India. It's okay because Murta said we're ahead of schedule. What a prat, says Kieran. I think what it does do, though, it just exposes, again, the lack of depth we've got in the midfield and the attack. We just don't have an amazing amount of depth, do we? Yeah, look, a lot of people mentioning it in the chat as well. Make sure you smash a like on the video or a comment for David De Gea. 500 appearance today for Manchester United. Let's hope for all the awards and accolades he gets delivered today. Let's hope he can deliver a clean sheet for Manchester United today. I do just want to give you the team news for Newcastle. As I said, there is no St. Maximum. That came out yesterday that St. Maximum wouldn't be playing. But obviously we already knew that Isaac wasn't going to play. So it's on the screen there, you can see it. But Pope, Trippier, Shah, Botman, Byrne, Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton, Almiron, Wilson, Murphy. They're capable. They're more than capable. They're more than capable of coming here today and getting a result. And I would say that their chances of getting a result are enhanced by our midfield being, without Eriksen. Curious about the incoming game. Let's win it and get more confidence, says Igor David. And also we've got a super chat from Charlie Coffey to say, to play devil's advocate, at least we may see some youth players playing today. Charlie, I've got to say, I understand where you're coming from, but I completely don't see the positive in that. At least we get to see some youth play today. What if we get beat 4-0? Well, at least we got to see some youth play today. I've got to be honest, United will always be a club that's about youth development, but having lost 3 of our first 5 games, I don't want to see us losing a game today and having to use the youth. So, I mean, if we can win the game and see a bit of youth, I'm with you, Charlie, but I think it's a great goal by Rangers there. Just scored a bloody great goal. Well done. All the way from the back. What a goal. Gets Motherwell. Skip it. But no, I mean, look, at least we get to see a bit of the youth today. You can see a bit of the youth by watching the under-21s. I want to see a win today. And it's a tough game to throw a youngster into, but he might have to. As I said, there's only 3 senior pros, outfield players on the bench. You've got Malacia, Lindelof and Rashford. And Rashford feels under the weather. So Alanga, Palestri, we might get to see them today. Garnacho, Mainu's on the bench. So it's interesting and it shows you how slim we are with options. Hi Mark, we need some goals today. I'm predicting a 3-1 win. Ronaldo, Anthony and Casemiro on the score sheet, says Josh. Well, I did tweet this morning that I think Casemiro will be massively important in this game. Mackenzie says he's annoyed it's not on the telly. When squad depth can get so light, how can the board still justify not buying in January? So Stephen, and what I've thought you do a preview with the Geordie since they are the rich and up and coming team and be more worth doing than the last time you did it, says Nathan. True Geordie won't do a preview with us. And people used to laugh at Joelinton, the striker, but he's like a better version of Fellaini now. Performs when it matters, needs to be careful, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. I think that Newcastle's midfield, it was going to be a very interesting battle anyway in that midfield, and I think it's going to be an even more interesting battle in the midfield now because they've got we don't have Eriksen. Joelinton against Bruno Guimaraes, and Longstaff. against Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno was going to be very interesting. We all know which player is massively important in this game now, and it's Fred. It's Fred. If Fred has a good game, I think we win. If Fred has a bad game, it might be a problem. Don't rate Fred, but that duo works well for Brazil, says Raul. We need Fred to have a good game today. I mean, I think we need Bruno to have a good game as well, but we need Fred to have a good game. If Fred has a bad game, I think we'll struggle. Looking forward to seeing Fred partnering Casemiro. Hopefully his passing is decent. Yeah. And David, thank you very much for the chat. You're absolutely spot on. It's not just Fred running around making tackles. He's got to pass well. I'm really grateful of that comment, David, because I think as we approach the kickoff in about 50 minutes, it's not just Fred running around and making a few tackles. He's got to make the passes. He's got to link the midfield with the attack. And I think today's going to be really interesting because if we can go to Goodison Park and have between 60 and 70% possession as an away side, with Casemiro coming into the team, then I think today you would want and expect to have 60, 70% possession as the home team with Casemiro and Eriksen. Now, the problem is you take McTominay out the team and you bring Casemiro in the team and the possession stats go up. You take Eriksen out the team and you put Fred back in the team, you'd expect the possession stats to go down. And I know some people don't like stats, and I'm not massively into stats, but what I think when you've got a manager like Erik ten Hag, you know that he wants to be getting to around 70% possession. And by bringing Casemiro into the team, who gets on the ball a lot, that moved up from McTominay. Is it going to move down because Eriksen's out of the team for Fred? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. Any update on Donny van der Beek? These are the games he can truly make a difference, is Venkat. Only what we've said before, that it's, that it's the same issue that we've had before with Bruno, whereby with Donny, where he could be playing in a game like this. So yeah, it's a different one. Hi Mark, will you be watching LP? No, and Ronaldo has to pop off today. Feed him a lot today, says Lars. Varane is starting. Vengeance, he is. And do you think it's time to sell Donny, says Jay Holds? Well, I think with Donny, if he was just fit, it would make a big difference, wouldn't it? But as we know, he just doesn't stay fit. So therefore, if he doesn't stay fit, it becomes a bit of a problem for Manchester United, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Siegfried's sad about Eriksen. There we go. And we need to feed our number 9 today. We've got to move the ball from back to front. I think I'm very interested to see how the game's going to pan out. I expect that side, Newcastle, to play on the counter and defend deep. I mean, look, it works really well for Ammonia on Thursday night, so why would it not work well for them when they're a better team? Not saying that, David. Eriksen is ill. Yes, we've spoken about that. Some people tuning in a little bit late. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe, by the way. Is Chilwell a better left back than Shaw, says Jack James? Don't really care, Jack, if I'm honest. It's not really relevant to what we're trying to achieve, what England do. I'm not bothered about. I'm bothered about Manchester United, and hopefully he can have a good game. Bruno is the new Maguire, starts regardless of form, and Almiron has been in good form lately. Need a solid game out of Luke Shaw. He's got to track the runs well. I think you're right with Almiron. We've got to track the runners and make sure that we're on the ball with that. So yeah, we go. Yeah, Ten Hag. Christian Eriksen is out through illness and Marcus Rashford is on the bench as he's under the weather, not 100% fit. I think there would have been very interesting conversation points if either player had been dropped, but they're not dropped. Sancho is in the team because Rashford's not well. Rashford's on the bench. Fred's in the team because Eriksen's not well, and he's not well enough to even be on the bench. I'm amazed to see the disrespect David and Ronnie get, knowing out of all these players, they're the only players that have delivered in a shirt, says Franco. And feed the goat and he will score, says Mark. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Who do you think will win in the Battle of the Brunos today, says Ravi? Well, I do want to talk about that. It's a big day for me, but it's a big day for David De Gea. It's a big day for me because we've got the Man United watch-along, and then straight after that, I'm on to That's Football to do the watch-along for Chelsea, Liverpool against Man City on That's Football. So it's a big afternoon of football. I think Chelsea are kicking off at 2 o'clock. Arsenal kicking off against Leeds as well. So there's some big games going on today. Why don't the club disclose what the long-term injuries are? Seems like it's a secret as to what is wrong with Donny, Wan-Bissaka, Twansebi, Jones and Williams, says Toho. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we're not getting. I mean, look, it might just be Ten Hag. Some managers are open about it, some aren't. We're learning about Ten Hag. Maybe he doesn't want the public to know what his injury situations are. I think in the modern day, you don't really get that much of an update, an advantage now. I don't know why we can't be told that Donny van der Beek's not going to be back for a month, or Wan-Bissaka's not going to be back for a month, and that's pure speculation. I don't know how long they're going to be out for, but I mean, the disappointing thing is we assume that people like Wan-Bissaka and Donny van der Beek aren't actually injured because they've not actually played any games. So to see them, not available, it is very, very, very disappointing, especially when you've got games like this. I mean, I'd rather Donny van der Beek was starting this game instead of Fred, because at least he is a player that, hypothetically can actually feed between the lines. But we don't know when they're going to be back. And it makes it very, very difficult to obviously predict when they're going to be back when you don't get any update on it. But the bench is exciting, like Charlie said earlier, but it's also weak because it doesn't have a lot of experience in it. Just have that feeling today will be a frustrating one. I don't see Fred progressing the ball as frequently and fluidly, says Bradley. I think a game of football is always hard to predict. I've gone with a 2-0 win for Manchester United. The defence looks good. Dalot, Varane, Martinez and Shaw. The defence looks good. And it's better with Varane in it. So I think Varane being back's a positive. You've got Casemiro in front of it. So I would hope that defensively we're good. It's just whether... It's the story. I think where we might struggle tonight is, can we score goals? Because Newcastle defend really well. Newcastle have only conceded more than one goal twice this season. Once was against Liverpool with a stoppage time 96th minute winner, and then the other one was a 3-3 thriller at St James's Park against Man City. So Newcastle defend well. I think today the frustrating thing might be, can we score goals? That's the problem. I think both defences look good. So that's where we've got to be wary, I think. I can see the Glazers spending another 120 million in January, to be honest, because if they don't, the takeover will be on their head more than ever, says Nathan. And Bruno and Fred means we will have 50% possession. We'll need to keep an eye on that, Benjamin. We will do, won't we? We'll have to keep an eye on that. But can I just say as well, it's been a fast-paced start to this stream, as many of you may well have seen. But we are sponsored by a fantastic sponsor, which you may know from watching the United Stand quite a lot, Manscaped. Manscaped. Football, balls, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. That's what Manscaped is all about. And you can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping by scanning that QR code with your phone or going through the link in the description. Use the code UnitedStand. What is Manscaped? Well, look, winter's coming, autumn's coming, Halloween's coming, and you don't want an Edward Scissorhands hack job on your family jewels. Use the Manscaped 4.0. It's got a powerful engine. It's got a light for a more precise shave. It's got adjustable lengths. It's got electromagnetic induction charging, so you don't need a wire. Just put it into the dock. And also it's waterproof. Basically, it does what it says on the tin. Manscaping by Manscaped. Trim the grass, make the yard look bigger. It really does work. Fantastic products. You can get 20% and free worldwide shipping. Once you get one of these, you won't regret it. You'll be very, very, very happy. They do ship worldwide, and you can get 20% off with the code UnitedStand. Fantastic products. You can also get the performance package, where you get the Weed Whacker as well, which is for your nasal hair. You get performance boxer shorts, a travel bag, loads of goodies in that as well. So big shout out to Manscaped. Fantastic products, and we've been using them and mentioning them for quite a while. But you get a lot of good feedback on that because they are very good products. So check them out. Delivered worldwide with 20% off. Check it out. Free worldwide shipping. Big shout out to Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Trim the grass, boys, says Nen. Okay, big shout out to Manscaped there. But yeah, unfortunately, Ten Hag has trimmed the grass today in a footballing sense, and the squad doesn't look good for it. It looks... My concern with today is that if things go wrong, you're turning behind. Look, the worst thing as a coach, and I'm not coaching at this level and never have coached at this level, but anybody who's been a coach will adhere to this, whether it's football, netball, whatever. The worst thing you've got is when your team needs a goal or your team's not performing and you turn behind and you go, oh, okay, what are my options here? And when Ten Hag turns behind to look for options today, he's going to see an ill Marcus Rashford. He's going to see Anthony Elanga, who's not really played, Garnacho, who's not really played, Palestri, who's not really played. If he wants a defensive sub, he's got Malacia and Lindelof, but they're not really going to be needed. They're not going to be needed. The only reason you're going to bring Lindelof and Malacia on is if it's late on, like we did against Everton, to hold on to a win, or if you get an injury, or if somebody's absolutely stinking Old Trafford out. Where you are going to need your subs, and Ty's ordering his Manscaped now, well done. Where you are going to need your subs in a game like this is if it's like Thursday night where we just can't get a goal. And he's going to turn round and he's going to have to throw Rashford on half fit. And I think this is where United's problem lie this season. We're all getting excited about these 3 games. You get a couple of people ill, like Eriksen and Rashford, and you can put a team out, but beyond that team, you're looking at the bench and you're going and basically throwing on the unknown, which can work. We've seen the unknown thrown on before, but we'll have to wait and see. Ordering my Manscaped now, that was from Ty. Eriksen, Alfred, and Fred in for him, and he's put an under-18 player on the bench, says Darren Malai. Yep. What about Iqbal? Would love to see him today, says Alpha. Yeah, look, I like Iqbal, Mainu, Palestri. I'd like to see a bit of him. Garnacho. They're all exciting players, but if you're throwing them into a game, and this is what worries me, if it's half an hour to go and it's 0-0 and we don't look like scoring, or it's 1-0 to Newcastle and we need a goal, it's very unfair to throw on Iqbal, Garnacho, Palestri. We'll be excited by it, but they should be coming on, and we haven't had the opportunity to do this, but they should be coming on when you're 4-0 up at home to, I don't know, Fulham or something like that. You're throwing them on into a situation that that might be a bit unfair, but we'll have to wait and see. Needs must. Savage is still about. Yeah, played well yesterday, but obviously not in the squad today. He's gone with Mainu, who's been very impressive. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Looking forward to the action today. We've got the United watch-along, and then we're going to be doing match reaction, and then we're going to go straight over to That's Football for Liverpool Man City, of course. It's Elanga's time to shine, says Martial FC. A lot of people talking about Elanga's time to shine. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Franco says, De Gea is my keeper. Well, I want to talk about De Gea very, very quickly before we move into other areas. 500th appearance for Manchester United today for David De Gea. I heard Fabrizio, who we've got on the show tomorrow, talking about... We've got Fabrizio on at 1 o'clock tomorrow, actually, live. So we'll go through all the latest transfer stuff. I want to talk to him a bit about Rafael Leao. I heard a story about him this morning, so we'll do that tomorrow. But Fabrizio was saying that David De Gea really wants a new contract at Manchester United. It's 500 appearances. Almost the perfect time to give him a new contract, apart from the fact that, as we know, there are United fans out there that believe they wouldn't do that. So I think that, look, I thought David De Gea was fantastic against Everton last week, and for all the people that have moaned about how he plays football and whether he's a modern goalkeeper or not, if he played like he did against Everton every week, we wouldn't need to buy a new goalkeeper. The issue is, can he play like he did against Everton every week? And we'll be looking at that today against a good Newcastle side. We'll be looking at it on Wednesday against a good Spurs side, and next week at Stamford Bridge against a good Chelsea side. Can David De Gea receive the ball under pressure and find a pass? Can David De Gea, come out of his box and sense danger? Again, in the next 3 games, he's got to do it every week. Now, if David De Gea can do that every week, I give him the new contract. That's what I do. I say to David De Gea as Eric Ten Hag, you play like you did against Everton every week, I'll give you the contract you want. But if you can't do that, I can't give you the contract I want. And that's where we're at with this. But we're also talking today about 500 appearances. And when you make 500 appearances for Manchester United, you have to sit back for a moment and go, let's have a look at those 500 appearances. Let's have a look at this player. What has this player meant to Manchester United? And I wanted to take a minute or two to do this because we all live in the now and we're all like whether he should get a new contract, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, David De Gea, 500 appearances today, he's won a Premier League medal. He's won things at Manchester United, which is quite a rarity in that current squad. But it's not just that. I think about the wilderness years, and that's what David De Gea represents to me. He represents 2-0 to Rangers. He represents a... I mean, there were times in the Van Gaal era, and the Moyes era, and the Solskjaer era, and the Mourinho era, where if it wasn't for David De Gea, things could have been worse. Especially in the Van Gaal era. I think he was... I mean, how many times has he won Player of the Year in the last 10 years? Is it 2, 3? Could have won it last year if it wasn't for Ronaldo. I wonder what David De Gea would not have been out of place in a Man United shirt in the era where we won things. You know, the Van der Sar era and the Schmeichel era. I'm not saying he's better than those two goalkeepers, but he's been a fantastic goalkeeper for us, who unfortunately has spent most of his time playing in a United side that has been, you know, in the wilderness because of, well, we know why. So I think David De Gea has been a fantastic servant for Manchester United. And very much like Steven Gerrard at Liverpool, who never won a Premier League title, is it Gerrard's fault that he was one of Liverpool's greatest ever players in a time when they couldn't win titles? And I think with David De Gea, he probably should have a lot more trophies than he's got. He's just been playing for United in the time where the foot came off the gas a little bit. But I think he's been a fantastic servant for Manchester United, David De Gea, and we should take these moments to celebrate these 500 games. I think some people don't want to celebrate it because they're like, I don't want to give him a new contract. But the 500 games have been done. You can still celebrate what De Gea has done and think, I don't know whether to give him a new contract. He has been a great servant to the club, and I think he's a fantastic player. On the contract, I'd love us to give him a new contract, but I do still think we've got to just see if he can consistently do what he did against Everton last week. Ryan says, can you wish my amazing girlfriend Primrose a happy 21st birthday? Come on, the mighty Reds. That's from Ryan. Happy birthday to Primrose. And Sup Mark says, Rory, am I dumb or is this match not being aired on Sky or BT? Says Rory. I don't know what the 2 o'clock game is. I think it might be Chelsea. Delo has 4 yellow cards. If he gets another, he'll be suspended. Who do you play at right back then? FPL Badjo. And if we don't lose possession easily, do one-touch passes plays, and if Ronaldo takes his chances, we might get a chance. Keep up the good work, Mark, says Rui. I think that there's 3 players that have got to be good today. Fred, Bruno, Sancho. Fred's the player that is replacing Eriksen, who feeds the attack. Bruno is the number 10, and Sancho has got to do better than he has done in recent weeks. So if Sancho, Bruno and Fred are average or below today, we won't win. If those 3 players play well, I think we'll win. Ronaldo is a service player. Casemiro, I think you know what you get with Casemiro. The back 4, I'm confident with. And Anthony, well, I think Anthony's a progressive development player. I think Anthony has done great to score goals, but I don't think we should be putting pressure on Anthony yet because he's still adjusting to the league. Fred, Bruno and Sancho need to have big games today. Massive momentum game for United. Lack of bench depth, a huge concern and not where we should be. Sancho to score, says Nasha. And Fred and Casemiro have a 0% loss rate against the better teams. We should play them too to give more protection to the defence. Hi Mark, hope you're recovering well. Massive respect with your mentality pass through the shows when not being well, says Mohammed Saki. Hope the game is good today. Thank you very much for the super chats there and everybody who's getting involved. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. Remember, we've got Manscaped on the screen there. You can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Get the Manscaped 4.0 delivered to your door with the code United Stand. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Fantastic products. Bit scared of Bruno Guimaraes and St. Maximin, says Mikey. Well, don't be scared of St. Maximin. Very, very good player, but he's about as useful as I am today because he ain't playing. He's injured. But Bruno Guimaraes has been good. Put respect on Newcastle's name. They've been very, very good this season. Very, very good. And I think that the great thing is most Man United fans I listen to and read are very respectful of Newcastle and know it could be a difficult game today. So don't think that this is Newcastle of old where it should be a guaranteed 3 points. I think it has to be 3 points, but I think we're going to get a test. We will get a test today. I used to go to Old Trafford to watch Newcastle play in the 80s and 90s, says Bath. And what, as a Man United fan or a Newcastle fan? And we can't renew and extend the contract on the current terms, says Dylan. Newcastle looks solid, says Ryan. Gorilla Guy says no Eriksen, he's ill. Ten Hag has come out and confirmed that Eriksen is ill. And Rashford is ill as well. Rashford's made the bench, but Eriksen's not well enough to make the bench. Newcastle could win today. Brighton came here and won. Newcastle could win as well. I think somebody said it when we started streaming that the game has a feel today of uncertainty. You don't know which way it's going to go. And it's one of those Saturday afternoons where you just don't know how you're going to feel at 4 o'clock. I mean, are we going to be doing the match reaction and the player ratings with buzz and momentum going into the Spurs game? Are we going to be doing it going into it? God, I can't wait for that Spurs game. So we need to sort this out big time. We all know that these next 3 games are season specific in relation to what we're going to be. You couldn't ask for a more testing 3 games in 6 days, because all three Newcastle are the team that want to be big, Spurs are the team that are in the top 4, and Chelsea want to be big as well. So we're playing 3 teams that really we want to compete with over not just this season, but over future seasons. So this is going to be a real contest for us, and I'm intrigued to see how it pans out, because we should start to, especially in the home games, we should be starting to stamp our authority. And this is what I mean. People like Jadon Sancho, 75 million quid, Bruno Fernandes, 50 million quid. These are 2 players that have got to start. You know, everyone's talking about Bruno Guimaraes and Joel Linton and Callum Wilson and St Maximum. And I know St Maximum's not playing, but Bruno Fernandes, Jadon Sancho. I don't want to be talking about Bruno Guimaraes and how good he is. We've spent money as well. We've got good players as well. We're at Old Trafford. They need to deliver. Madrid versus Barca, Pol, so skeletons. I doubt anybody's that interested, mate. What time does that kick off, Madrid versus Barcelona? I think it's like, is it something like 3:15? We will do a poll on the score, though. I think it's always worth doing one of those. Let's start a poll. Results. What's the result going to be? United win, draw, or Newcastle win? I've gone with a 2-0 win, by the way, for Manchester United. But does it change your options? Does it change your positivity? Does it change your feeling about the game, knowing that Cristiano Ronaldo is starting up front? I mean, I want to talk about that, actually. I meant to say that knowing that Christian Eriksen, not Cristiano Ronaldo, knowing that Christian Eriksen's not playing, what does that do to you and your positivity around this game? Does it make it easier? I don't think it does. Does it make it harder? I think it does. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Fred into the team. No Rashford as well. I think that's a shame. I really do. So how are you feeling about that? What does that do for the game for you? Does it make it easier? Does it make it harder? Let us know in the chat there. This will be really tough with that bench. Shame Donny is missing his chances, says Ralph. Well, a lot of people have talked about the game, of course, in the sense of how we're going to line up. I think one thing that we've missed, and we might have spoken about, if Eriksen and Rashford had been fit and starting, that obviously would have put Fred and Sancho on the bench and made it stronger. That's one angle to look at. You can look at that bench and say, it's obviously inexperienced, not as strong as you would like, maybe. But if you had Eriksen and Rashford fit, you'd have Sancho and Fred on the bench to give it a little bit more, experience, I suppose. But we would have also been saying, oh, Martial. Because when I did the preview on Thursday or Friday, I did say, Martial. Does Martial come straight back into this team? And Ten Hag did say post the game on Thursday that, there was hope that Martial would be back for Sunday, and he's not back. So the negative about that is that, does that mean he's not back for Spurs? If he's not even fit enough to be on the bench today, for 20 minutes, how is he going to be fit enough to play 90 on Wednesday? So, or are they just being overcautious? So let's not forget, Martial's not available for another game. And what is this? Is this game 10 for United, or is it game 9? I think it might be. It's game 9, isn't it? We've won 5 and we've lost 3. So it's game 9 for United, and I think Martial's been injured for 7 of those. I think he's only been available for 2 games. So yeah, it's another one. It's another issue, isn't it? I'm really worried about Fred in the midfield. Casemiro has it all to do today. Rodeo, no, I think Fred's. I don't think Fred was fantastic on Thursday night, but one thing you will always get from Fred is energy and effort. That's not enough today, though. I think we need more than that. We need control, ball control, and that's not always guaranteed with Fred. Yeah, that's not always a guaranteed. Hi Mark, excited for the game today, says Tomo. Mark, if you could bring back any United player into this team, who would you choose, says Shock. And Joshua says, correction, it's energy, desire and trust. The old Solskjaer words, yeah, energy, trust, desire. If you know, you know, says NV11. Yeah. Without Eriksen, chances created will be limited. We must be clinical and take our chances. FIFA crazy. I don't really want to be that guy because I think that the Bruno Fernandes comments that I made in the week were obviously taken out of context by people who don't watch the channel, because I am a big fan of Bruno and I don't really want to put the focus on Bruno. But to be honest with you, he is the captain, he is the creator, and without Eriksen, he is more of the creator. Bruno Fernandes needs to have a good game today. And one thing you do get, and I don't know whether anybody watched the members video I did. If you are a member, make sure you watch the video that I put up yesterday. We do exclusive extra content for the members. It's normally a bit of a deep dive into stats. So if you want to join, you get your badge next to your name like Joel Morris, but you will get exclusive extra content. I don't know whether anybody watched it yesterday. It's only been up a day, but I did a video yesterday comparing Bruno Fernandes with De Bruyne, Odegaard and James Maddison in games this season. And what became very, very clear is that Bruno is not terrible, but Bruno's attributes are goals, assists, and he likes a long pass. But he's not as good as Odegaard and James Maddison at passing accuracy, keeping, control, I call it. Odegaard's brilliant at it. His passing accuracy is way better than Bruno because it's not because he's a better passer. It's because of Odegaard doesn't hit many long passes. Odegaard is a controller, number 10. He plays shorter passes. You see, he scores goals still. He creates goals, but he's more like Eriksen. Eriksen's a controller as well. His pass accuracy is much higher than Bruno's because he can hit a long pass, but he's about possession. Bruno's not a possession-based number 10. Bruno's about getting a goal, creating a goal, or trying a risky pass. And it's good when it's good. De Bruyne is a bit like that as well. De Bruyne is a little bit more controlled, but De Bruyne and Bruno are quite close. De Bruyne likes a risky pass. De Bruyne likes the goal. He likes the assist, and so does Bruno. But I think we need a controlled Bruno today because I think we're going to have to be patient against a good Newcastle defence. I think if Bruno picks the ball up and looks up for little Hollywood passes all the time, it might be a frustrating afternoon. We need a bit of control from Bruno today. And I know it's not his normal game, but with Eriksen not there, you're not going to get control from Fred. Fred's not going to be the guy who goes, I'm just going to play the passes and keep control. Bruno's got to be the possession control today. And I think Sancho needs to be as well. Hi, Mark. Do you think the United Academy has suffered from a lack of investment, says Johnny? I don't think our academy is bad. I think that it's just very difficult for Ten Hag to play the youth at the moment because every bloody game we play is tight. Southampton away, Leicester away, Everton away. We won those games by 1 goal. Liverpool and Arsenal at home, very, very tough games. When have we been able to get Palestri on the pitch or Garnacho on the pitch? We're very rarely 2 or 3-0 up. So I think we've got some good young players that we all want to see given a chance. But there are no Carabao Cup games yet. We've struggled in the Europa League a little bit. Even against the Cypriot side twice, it's been a 90-minute game with the first team, hasn't it? So I think we've got some good young players, but we don't have the opportunities that maybe Man City have when they're comfortable and they get a couple of young players on. We can't do that at the moment. A few players with a bit of point to prove today. Fred, Sancho and Shaw. Let's hope they play well and we get a result, says Vincent. I tell you what, and I'll say it again, and I said it after the Everton game as well, and I said it before the Everton game, so I'll say it before the Newcastle game. If we get a win today, I don't want to be on the match reaction and people going, "Oh, it's only Newcastle." This is a big 3 points to get. Newcastle are a good side. We're still trying to understand who we are. We're still building back from our worst ever Premier League season last year. When you go to Everton and you get a win, you say that's a good result because we don't know who we are. Of course, we want to be that team, like Man City, that you go to Goodison Park and you expect to win. But we're not that team yet. We can't trust this team yet. We don't know that this is a guaranteed 3 points. So we have to respect Newcastle. They're a good side. We have to beat Newcastle. And then we have to say, that's a good 3 points. And that's what I'm looking for today. Mark, if you were Erik ten Hag, what would you be instructions to the dressing room to beat United? If you were EH. Oh, Eddie Howe. Sorry. If you were Eddie Howe, what would be your instructions to beat United? Football 454. I think we all know what the instruction is to beat Manchester United, don't we? The instruction to beat Manchester United is this. Compact at the back, defend the edge of your box, midfield in front of it, and let's utilise set pieces, if we can get corners and stuff. But ultimately, let's be clever in possession. When we get the ball, let's move it quickly from back to front, and let's look to exploit them. They're the home team. They've got the pressure. They had a terrible game on Thursday night where they couldn't score in 90 minutes against a team from Cyprus who defended well, but weren't good enough to counter-attack. If I was Eddie Howe, I'd look at that game on Thursday and go, that's how I was going to play anyway. I want us to be defensively solid. I want the midfield to support the defence. I want, organisation. Let them carve us open. I don't think they can. Goalkeeper, just be wary, long shots, etc. But look, if they're going to beat us, let them score a worldie. Let them carve us open. And then when we've got the ball, let's move it quickly. Let's exploit the space. Let's get at them. And if I was Eddie Howe, I'd say, look, if we keep this game 0-0, or we go 1-0 up in the first half an hour, that crowd's going to get frustrated, and then we're really in the game. So it's an easy game plan for Newcastle. We're going to have to play well, because I know, if at half time it's 0-0 and we can't create, we'll all be saying the same stuff again. We can't deal with a low block, and then Newcastle are in the game. So an early goal would be brilliant for Manchester United. Of course it would, but it's an easy game plan for Newcastle, and I think Eddie Howe will have had it for a few weeks. He'll know how he's going to play here, because United struggle against the low block, and without Eriksen, you'd be even more confident. But what do United do? Because it's not just about what Newcastle do. What do I do if I'm Erik ten Hag? I'm like, look, we've got to be brave. We've got to be brave. Thursday night, we've got to eradicate that. We've got to get chances for Cristiano. We've got to get those overlaps. We're not putting good crosses into the box. Luke Shaw, Dalot, get past your wingers. Sancho, Anthony, look for them. And if you can't get them, use the space that they create to put the cross in yourself. Fred, Casemiro, Bruno, control of the midfield. Control the ball. If the pass isn't on, let's not play a risky pass. Let's keep that ball rotating. Let's work the opposition. Boss. But what if we've got the ball in the final third and we can't find any space? Dalot, Shaw, make the overlaps. Put the cross in. Ronaldo on your toes. Work the angles. Work the opportunities. Be unpredictable. Whip crosses in from the overlap. Whip crosses in from the invert. And the inverted wingers are obviously Sancho and Anthony. Knock the ball into Ronaldo. Lock it into his feet. Run on in. We've got to make the decoy runs as well. The decoy runs are really important. I want to see people like Fred breaking into the box. Casemiro's done it well in the last couple of games. Bruno. Luke Shaw. Let's make some diagonals, We've got to be brave, we've got to be confident, and we've got to be creative. We can't be static. That's what we can't be static, and I think sometimes we're too static. Hi Mark, no Eriksen for creativity, no Rashford for a worldie. I suspect a draw, says Sean. Be a good draw for Newcastle as well. Can I just say, Bama's back in the chat. Bada bing, bada boom. It's Bama. He's just gifted 10 United Stand memberships. Big shout out to Bama, your legend. If you are one of the new members, you'll have a badge next to your name. Do not miss the latest new video we've put up for the members as well. Let's guess how many times Fred will put up his hands in this game, says Minnie. And we need to create overlaps, be free-flowing, says Lance. Yeah, I think the fullbacks... For me, if you're playing against a low block, the dream is to score early, because then that team can't low block anymore. But you've also got to be... I saw a lot of panic from United on Thursday. A lot of long shots. Remember we said it at half-time. Play the extra pass. Work the opportunity. If it's not on... Just keep moving the ball. Movement. On your toes football. That's what it's all about. Not crab football. Not side to side and then there's nothing on, so I'm lazily going to knock it sideways to somebody else and let them see if something's on. Pass and move. Movement off the ball. Decoy runs. If I'm Bruno Fernandes and I pick it up on the edge of the 6 yard, on the edge of the box, between the penalty box and the halfway line, and I look up and there's no pass to Ronaldo, Sancho or Anthony, and I'm under a bit of pressure, I want to see Luke Shaw bombing, because someone's got to go with him. And I'm thinking, you know what? If no one goes if no one goes for Luke Shaw, I'm dinking this behind into him in the box and he's going to run onto it. Someone goes with Luke Shaw, might be the right back, might be Trippier. Suddenly Sancho's got a bit of space. Movement. We don't move confidently. Decoy runs are so important. And a decoy run is someone making a run that's going to create space for somebody else. Martial is brilliant at it. So we've got to be confident. We've got to be patient. And... you know what? If you keep doing that for 20 minutes and you keep your head, you will score. But you've got to believe that you're going to do that. And I think too many times we don't believe we're going to do it. And we start skipping past two players and then shooting instead of playing the better pass. So we've got to be patient today. Really have. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a test. It is a test. And as I said, if we can come out with a win, it'll be very, very good. Hard work from the midfield will do the job, says Salim. Yeah, and can I just say, we probably haven't spoken about Newcastle enough, but Joel Linton from that midfield is powerful and he's a breaker. He's a breakaway midfielder. He can get away on the counter. Very, very good. Bruno Guimaraes is a superb player who could be man of the match. Even though we've got Casemiro, Fred and Bruno, he could be man of the match. He's no idiot. He can run that midfield. Almiron's playing very, very well. Callum Wilson is a pain in the arse, to be honest with you. Very, very tough striker to deal with. Callum Wilson's just very unlucky with injury. I think if Callum Wilson had stayed fit for the last 3 years, he would be comfortably in that England squad. He is a handful and he can score all sorts of goals and he's quick. So Callum Wilson's a problem. And defensively, they're very well organised. They've got some really good defenders. Botman's been a great signing. Pope's a decent goalkeeper. We know about Trippier. We were linked to him. So they're going to be good. I mean, I'd be very surprised if we won this game 3 or 4-0. That could happen. I don't think it will. I don't think Newcastle are that sort of team anymore. So we're going to have to work for it. We're going to really have to work for it. A lot of Brazilians on the pitch, says Rahul. Talking of which, we're sponsored by Manscaped. If you want to get 20% off and free worldwide shipping, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger, delivered to your door. The code is United Stand. Fantastic products. Check out Manscaped. Links in the video description. Or you can scan the QR code, which will probably come next to me any second now. No, it's not. It's the team news there. We're 12 minutes away from the start of the game. Ethan says, I'm a bit worried. I love Bruno, but he needs dropping, even if we just put Sancho there, says Dan. I mean, that's an interesting point, Dan. Absolutely nothing, no part of me thinks that Bruno Fernandes should be on the bench today when you've got no McTominay, no Eriksen. I mean, Bruno... I don't know whether I would have dropped Bruno anyway, but if you're going to drop Bruno, you've got to have a fit Eriksen. We don't have that, or a Donny van de Beek, and we don't have that either. So I don't really feel that that he is the problem today. I think he has to be the solution. To me, Bruno Fernandes has got to be the solution today. We need Bruno Fernandes to deliver, and I don't think it's going to be that long until he does. I love Bruno. That was from Dan. Hi, Mark. Can you say Ermil is a prat? Score prediction 3-2 to United. We need Bruno today. I mean, this could be a game. I'm really hoping, and I'm not predicting this because that's a jinx, but I'm really hoping that at 4 o'clock today when we're doing the match reaction, I'm sat here saying Bruno Fernandes, absolutely amazing. Bruno Fernandes, the match winner. That would be perfect. That's what we need to see, but it will be difficult. It will be difficult. There's a lot of other games kicking off at 3 o'clock today, yes. Arsenal play Leeds, Chelsea at Villa, and obviously, I think there's another game, isn't there? Is it Southampton, West Ham? And then I'm doing That's Football at 4:30 for Man City against Liverpool at Anfield. I'm sorry, Mark, but I'm not confident about this as United Beast. I don't want to be sat watching Liverpool, Man City at 4:30 with United losing today. It might even lead me not to do it. So we're 11 minutes away from the start of this game. Time for a little bit of a stretch. We'll be keeping you up to date with what's going on. We've got the live chat as well. Big shout out to the moderators, of course. Sally Devil Red 7, well done. I was just about to do that one myself. Thank you very much. That reminds me, actually, let me just sort out the chat a little bit because we probably will need a little bit of modding on it today. But get involved in the chat. Yeah, look, I've got the earpiece in to listen to it. It's one of those games today, yeah, we will see how it gets on. But yeah, give us your thoughts during the game as well. Tactically, it's going to be very, very interesting, isn't it? And I'm intrigued to see how we do in a game of this magnitude. So give us your thoughts. We've got a poll running. And that poll is basically saying United win 69% and draw 15% and Newcastle win 15%. So good to see. Sorry, I think we're back now. I think I might have just dropped out. The stream might have dropped. Should be back now. Sorry about that. My fault. I was messing around with something in the back system, so we will be back for you now. Let me get going. There we go. Apologies. Shouldn't have done that. Not when I'm live. Anyway, 9 minutes to go. I've gone with a 2-0 win for Manchester United. Yeah, I've gone with a 2-0 win for Manchester United. I think it will be tight. I'll be very surprised if there's more than 3 goals in this game. There may well be less for anybody who's interested in that sort of stuff. I'm not. Never have been. Never will be. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 3-0 win 2-0 win for Manchester United. Yeah, 2-0 Manchester United. That's what I'm going to go for. Let me come back to the live chat. 8 minutes to go. Feeling confident, feeling good. No, I'm not, actually. Yeah. Somebody just said you're feeling confident, feeling good. No, I'm realistic. I'm realistic to what might happen. You know, I'm not that bothered about Thursday night. I know some people are. I'm not that bothered about what happened on Thursday night. I think it was an interesting game, but ultimately not that concerned about it. I think you know, it's it is what it is at the end of the day, isn't it? It's hopefully it's just a one-off. I think Ten Hag said that himself. Sometimes these games. Sorry, I keep messing around with stuff, and we are back now. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm just messing around with something, trying to sort something in the back system. So you don't need to panic that the stream's going to go down or anything like that. I'm doing it on purpose. So sorry about that. It will all work fine now. I was trying to work. Leave it alone, says Gary. Yeah, you know, I am one of those people though. I'm one of those people that, you know, when something's bugging me, I'll keep messing around. It's about the structure, says Shadow. So yeah, self-sabotage. It's not that I was just trying to sort the chat out. I was trying to. There's something I hadn't done with basically the live comments. I always try and do for a watch along. I always try and do it so there's you can't comment every second because it just spams it, and I hadn't done it. So to do it, I have to sort of restart the system to do it. So it just makes it go offline for a moment. But we're back now. It will be fine. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. We're only 5 minutes away from the start of this game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are as well. It's going to be a cracker. And I think that, we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. But I'm hopeful that we'll get a Manchester United result. I really am, because I think that I think it's going to be really, really interesting from a spectator point of view to see how Manchester United, approach this game. Possession-wise, I know we spoke about it a while ago, but you look at that Everton game, as I said, at times in the Everton game, we had total control of it, 60, 70% possession at times. And I think that was a lot to do with Casemiro coming into the team. And I think that it's going to be really interesting to see if today... If today we can do that again. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how it's going to pan out, and I think that whether we can do it or not, we'll have to wait and see. I've lost my chat now. I'm all over the place on this show today. I apologise for everybody. We are only 5 minutes away from the start though, so get ready to rumble. There's a lot of other football going on today, isn't there? Bloody El Clasico, right? I don't want to be on there, right? I want YouTube. Can I just get to YouTube? That's what I want. Okay, there we go. YouTube live chats. We're back. Thanks everybody. We're back in the show. Lovely stuff. Barmer is the GOAT. Do you think Ronaldo will score? Also, Speed collab, says Volta. I've already had a collab with Speed. It ended in his demise at FIFA. He got beat basically. So yeah, unlucky for him. But good for me. Right, let's have a look what people say in the chats. This is getting on my tits now. I shouldn't have started messing around with stuff. What channel's the game on, says Steve. Yeah. You're not going to get the answer from me on that, are you? You know that. Brandon Williams is out. Yeah, we know that. And I'm on the okay. And We've had a super chat coming in from SK. I think Erik ten Hag noticed lack of runs. He mentioned it in his post-match. I don't think there will be enough time to work on patterns with the schedule, says SK. What do you think of the weak bench? Says 404 not found. It is what it is, mate. There's not too much we can do about it. You know, we've got players out. Eriksen's ill. What do you want? What do you want to happen? There's not a lot you can do about it, and yeah, I guess at the end of the day, we'll just have to go with what we've got and hope we can get a result. Put respect on Newcastle. They're a good side. They are a good side. And yeah, I think ultimately, I think we've all said it in the chat as well. We just don't know how this game's going to pan out, do we? Darsh is feeling a bit of anxiety. Well, that's just excitement. That's just your team playing a game of football. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Hopefully we see Sue today. Well, I mean, Anthony, hopefully as well. Where are the goals going to come from? Afternoon, Mark. I can't believe he hasn't dropped Bruno and tried Eriksen in cam, says Barry. Barry, I can't believe... I can well believe that you're not aware of what's going on because, yeah, there is absolutely no chance that you're going to see Christian Eriksen today. He's not even made the bench. So, yeah, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. What players would you take from Newcastle, says James? Well, I'm a big fan of Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bruno Guimaraes. I think he's a cracking player. And, yeah, I think that, you know, that's the sort of player that you want at Manchester United, isn't it? But we haven't got him at Manchester United. He's at Newcastle. And I think he was a player that, when you looked at it around this time last year, I remember looking at Bruno Guimaraes and saying, you know, he's a top quality player. I'm really surprised that nobody has gone and looked at him. And, you know, what a player. I hope he's not going to have a good game today, but I remember looking on Y-Scout around this time last year and I was just looking at different, because United need a midfielder, and I was like, let's have a look around Europe. And the great thing about Y-Scout is that it's like this stats platform where it shows you the clips as well as everything else. And you can literally just whack it in and it'll be like, they're good at this, they're good at passing, they're good at tackling, successful defensive actions, aerial duels. He was a player that, the reason I keep saying about Newcastle is that the thing that is impressing me about Newcastle is they're not doing the whole we've got money and just chucking it around. They're doing the whole, they're buying good players. I think Isaac's an interesting player. I think Trippier was a good signing. I think Botman's a good signing. I think Bruno Guimaraes is a good signing. I think even Eddie Howe is an interesting signing as well. So, look, really interesting. Sir Alex Ferguson and Cristiano Ronaldo hugging, says you are a sock. I think he's just come on to sort of give David De Gea a moment, hasn't he? I think Ronaldo and Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson's given Ronaldo a plate, apparently. I don't know what that's all about. And he's given one to David De Gea as well. What's Ronaldo getting it for then? Does anyone in the chat know what Ronaldo's getting it for? Cracking picture though, isn't it? Ronaldo, De Gea, and goats of the game. 700 goals, of course, yes. So we're about to start here. Let me just, I'll start the timer. It's completely irrelevant in many ways because so many people are going to be watching and listening in so many different ways. But we have got a timer on the screen for you, hopefully. Let me just get that going. 2 o'clock. Actually, let me just stop that. Start. That's stupid. I don't know why I did that. We will sync it in with what I'm listening to. Mark, check Twitter, says Daniel Jones. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for that. Let's check Twitter. Why do I want to check Twitter? 700 goals last match. Let me just get this started. Okay, so that's what I'm synced in with if you want to be synced in with me. Attacking the Stretford end again. I've never noticed this with Manchester United. Attacking the Stretford end is weird. I've got what's Villa Chelsea is on that telly. Yeah, we're up and running. Hopefully the timer's working for you as well. You got your stats on the screen there. Very important. If you're not able to watch the game, we'll keep the stats on for you there, so you can keep an eye on what's going on. It updates by the second. Lovely stuff. And we'll keep an eye on what Manchester United can do in this game today. I think it's going to be very interesting. Man United aren't always going to be on the telly, Ivan. Arsenal Leeds isn't on the telly, so it's Chelsea versus Villa at Villa Park, which is... I'm not watching the Arsenal game, Harouche, because it's not on telly. Bugs watching it in French. Well, we'll keep you all up to date with what's going on. But it'll be very interesting to see how Manchester United do in this game. Wolf says that Hannibal's starting for Blues, Birmingham. Hope you get the result there then. But early start, Newcastle, just very energetic side, which they are. They're not going to. I don't think Newcastle will sit back. I think it's not a bad way to approach the game, but I don't think they necessarily will sit back, Newcastle. I don't think that's necessarily how they're going to approach it. But if you wanted to approach it in that way, go Newcastle, says Rick. Sorry, mates. Oh, Villa with an early shot there. 500 is no joke. Congratulations to De Gea. Need a solid win. Tough set of games. Come on, United, says SK. It's on BBC 5 Radio Extra, says Shadow. You can listen to it on MUTV as well. If you've got MUTV, they do radio commentary as well. Sancho into the box. Early shot for you-know-who. He'll put his hand up and do a smile, I'm sure. Fred shoots wide. Maybe should have done a little bit better from there, but it was the edge of the box. Sancho probing, and Fred ends up with a shot that I think by the sounds of it, he probably should have done a little bit better. Not hitting the target. Bruno laid it off for him. We're attacking the Stretford end in the first half again. It's strange, says Chris. I mentioned this on Thursday. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. For the last, as far as I can remember, we always attack Stretford end in the second half. And last two games in a row, we haven't. Maybe it's one of those myths. You know those myths that there are that you think these things happen all the time. Like the 99 treble winning side, we assume that best 11 played together a lot, and it didn't. Love your content, bud, says Chris. I think it's going to be a good game, this. Half a chance there for Fred. Not a very good one. It's never a good chance when Fred shoots from the edge of the box, really, unless it's Christmas. But, yeah. Clock's not in sync, says Espen. It's definitely in sync with it's definitely in sync with what I'm listening to. So you know when people say sync the clock, you're being quite thick because you want me to sync the clock with what you're watching or listening to. I sync it based on what I'm listening to, not what you're doing. So it's for you to then sync in with me. It's not for me to sync in with you. I think some people don't think about that. How's my FPL so far, says Agam. I think I've got a lot of people playing today. I'll have to have a look. Sancho on the left-hand side. Back into Fred on the edge of the box again. I'm just going to have to check this now on the website. Let me just go to the website. Okay, apologies. I was a bit ahead. There we go. That clock should be right now for what I'm listening to. Fred's getting a bit of stick in the chat. Let us know what your thoughts are. Early doors. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Manchester United against Newcastle, and I'm on That's Football at 4:30 for Liverpool against Man City. I think that's going to be a big, big game as well. But there we go. Thanks, moderators. We're getting a few twats today. Let's just kick them out. Hi, Mark. Love to see how Casemiro and Fred will do, says Cohen. Well, I think already in these, first 5 minutes, it's clear to see that Fred is pushing on, getting to the edge of the box, and Casemiro is going to sit. So, here we go. An injured player at the moment for Newcastle, Shaw. He's gone off the edge of the pitch and he's hurt his leg. I don't think he's in a very good position. I think Ronaldo just won a corner, by the way, but apparently there's a Newcastle player down at the moment who is injured. Phil says Sancho's looking on fire. Got to have a good game today, Jaden. Got to have a good game. Good that he's got on the ball a couple of times in the first 5 minutes. We need him to have a good game today. Fred and Tank must start, and Bruno Eric can fight, says Slingshot. Well, there's an opportunity there, isn't there, for... I think Shaw has basically tried to block Ronaldo's cross, and at Old Trafford we do have these weird, very dangerous ditches after the pitch, and basically he's turned his leg. I don't know whether he's going to be all right or not. It's 1-0 to Chelsea, by the way. I've missed the goal here. Let me look at it. All right, so headed away. Oh, Mings, absolute terrible defending by Mings. It's a free header. He's gone to head it away, and he's actually headed it on to Mason Mount to make it 1-0. Dear, oh dear. He's flicked it into the path of Mount in the box. It's a brilliant assist by Mings. I'm going to tweet it. United start so slowly the last 2 years. Maybe attacking Stretford End in the first half is an effort to get the players going from the start, says Rory C. Yeah, well, you know what? You make a great point there. Are Manchester United choosing to attack the Stretford End in the first half? Maybe there's a good point there. So Chelsea are 1-0 up here against Villa. A bit lucky, actually. Good to see Kobe Mainoo on the bench today, says Finn. I don't think Mings gets called up for England anymore now anyway. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. Manchester United, we're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock. Of course, we've got the player ratings in the second half and the match reaction as well. So lots to get involved in. Manchester United have started off quite well here. Long way to go. But they have started off quite well. Newcastle will be a threat, but I don't know what the update is with the Arsenal game at the moment. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. We're only 500 away from 508,000, so get involved with the United Stands. You're all very welcome. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. If you want to be a member as well, like Christine and Sports Are the Greatest, you get your little badge next to your name. Exclusive extra content as well. We did a video yesterday that's just gone up on Bruno, comparing him to Maddison, Odegaard and De Bruyne this season, analysing things like forward passes, offensive duels, dribbles, etc. Really, really interesting video. Newcastle looking for a penalty, apparently. No penalty, says Christine. Should have been a penalty, says Nathan. I've got to be honest, I can't comment on it. Rob, thank you very much for becoming a member. Appreciate that. React to the game, says Damo. I'll do what I want to do. Thank you, Damo. I've been doing it long enough, thanks. The day I take any advice from you is the day I'll probably stop. And you hater. I don't know what's going on with the Arsenal match. Congratulations for all of us. Sancho has the ball at the moment. He keeps having to pass it to Fred. And as long as Fred doesn't shoot, it might be okay. Mutsasan says, 1.5 million subscribers. Please keep it up. We want to be the biggest channel to back up our beloved club. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a competitive game. Elrond Bridge. I'm not bloody Elrond. I know what you're on about with that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let me just have a quick check. Some people saying the Arsenal game hasn't actually started. Good passing out from the back by Well, no, it was a good pass out by the back from De Gea, but a bad flick by Casemiro, and Newcastle are on the attack again. A little bit sloppy from Manchester United here. I thought De Gea's pass was fine, but apparently there's a delay. Power cut. At least it's in their game because I want to watch Liverpool Man City. Is there no saying you watch when they're on today? It's weird that I can watch it live in Australia, says Will. Yeah, well, basically in the UK you can't watch every single game. Chelsea are winning 1-0. Yeah, mistake by Mings. Mount with the goal. Newcastle got a corner here. Of course, Man United have got Chelsea next week, haven't we? It's going to be a tough game, that is. Tough game. Do what you want to do, says Demma. Thank you very much. So Newcastle with the corner here. They've not whipped it in. They've gone with a short. And a header into there, but David De Gea clears it. Chelsea scores 1-0, Nee. Luke says Newcastle's not an easy game for anyone. So a cross came in there to the back post from Newcastle, came right across David De Gea, and he sort of clammed it away. There's talk of this penalty here on Callum Wilson. Dive. Never a penalty. Never a penalty. Never a penalty. Wilson goes down before Varane touches him. Good decision. Good decision. Some people say it's definitely a penalty. At the other end, Sancho's just had a shot, by the way. Well over the bar, but a bit of a chance. Came to me on the edge of the box, curled it over. So quite an energetic game. I'm trying to keep an eye on Arsenal's game being called off. How can it be called off? There's so much football going on at the moment that it's what's happening in the Arsenal game. Teams heading into so due to a power cut, teams heading back down the tunnel. There we go. They can't turn the game. They can't postpone the game because all the fans that have travelled that far temporarily suspended. They'll sort it out. They'll sort it out. So 15 minutes have flown by. If you're interested in any of the games, Arsenal versus Leeds has been temporarily suspended because the batteries have run out. Someone's not paid for the Wi-Fi. And Chelsea are 1-0 up against Villa. Manchester United 0-0 with Newcastle. And it's going the way that we probably thought it was going to go with Newcastle. They're a good side. There was a bit of a penalty shout. I don't think it was a penalty. I don't know what anyone in the chat thinks. There's no point doing a poll because most of us are Man United fans. Although Worldwide said it definitely was a penalty. From what I just saw there, because a lot of people are putting it out there, just go on Twitter, just search penalty Wilson. It could have been a penalty, but Wilson goes down and starts going down before the contact even is made. So it's simulation for me. So it's not a penalty. If he'd stayed on his feet, he might have got it. But he goes down too early, as far as I'm concerned. And VAR obviously agreed. But Newcastle have got a corner here. And David De Gea's got hold of it. But it's a very interesting game. Very, very interesting game. Newcastle probably are slightly on top at the moment, playing very, very confidently, whereas Manchester United have had half chances on the break, but got to be very, very careful about who's going to get the momentum here. If you look at the early stats, what we're looking at on the stats screen, 64% possession for Manchester United, but it's not. It doesn't really feel like that at the moment. And I'm worried about Dalot. He might be burnt out, says Mario. And Dalot doesn't look up for it. Maybe tired, says Salim. Well, this was always going to be a problem with Dalot. Roddle's a member, and he says, I think it was a penalty. I'd have to have a look at it again. I'm going to go on my phone again in a minute. I don't want to be too much on my phone. But SK thinks Dalot is tired as well. We're out overhitting every pass, says Wacky, and we miss Ericsson. It was always going to be an issue. Always going to be an issue. It's Newcastle on the attack again. He gets past Casemiro. Joel Linton powering through the midfield. Gets past Casemiro. It wasn't Casemiro, it was Murphy. He didn't get past Murphy. It was Murphy powering from the midfield. And he outdoes Casemiro. Has a shot. It's a tame shot, but it's straight at De Gea. Newcastle's endeavour is clear to see. So far, Manchester United having to put a battle in, and you certainly wouldn't say from the first 15 minutes that Manchester United are getting the respect they might have thought at Old Trafford. Newcastle are here, and they're here to play, and it's quite an interesting one. Are you sure you're synced, says Rude. Mate, I'm getting a bit tired of this because I'm exactly the same as what I'm listening to. So if yours isn't, that's up to you. I'm synced in, so there we go. You're probably watching it somewhere where you're on something that's quicker or slower. So there you go. I can tell you for free that the timer on what I'm listening to is 16 minutes and 57 seconds. And that is exactly what you have got on your screen. So I will not be discussing it anymore because it's boring and it happens every bloody game. How is our captain? Is Bruno diving and whining to the ref over every little thing, says Luke Marshall. Well, Fred brings the ball forward here. And another... Ronaldo's not happy there. Anthony gets the ball in a decent situation and, whacks it sky high into the air, into the Stretford end. Brandon Williams sat with Harry Maguire. Leeds United forgot to... what's wrong with Brandon Williams as well? Is he ever going to get fit again? Leeds United forget to top up the electricity meter. Obviously, VAR isn't going to work, so the FA are peeing themselves since they need to exist, says Jack Glancy. Thanks for the super chats. Leeds Arsenal game is off. No, it's not. It's been suspended temporarily. Mark, when you get the chance, see what happened at the Leeds Arsenal match. Absolute joke, says the HPN. Well, I'm trying to sort of keep my eye and ears open to quite a few things here. It's always a challenging one when it's games like this. But unfortunately, I think in the first 20 minutes, we've just been a little bit impatient on the ball again. The passing's not what you would hope it to be, is it? Botman's good, says Just Kevin. He's very good. And I think Newcastle, unfortunately, are growing into this game. I can see Newcastle winning, says Alexander. We've got to step it up a little bit here. These players... These players should be doing more. It's hard work. There's another injury now for a Newcastle player. But you've got to work hard. Newcastle are working hard, and I think sometimes we worry about these Manchester United players because they just don't work hard. Interesting, Paddy on Twitter just said Newcastle look the better side and the more organised side right now, and I would agree with that. Just reading some Arsenal fans online, they're saying we don't want the game to go ahead without VAR in case something happens and we don't get it in our favour, which I suppose... No time frame on the Leeds game against Arsenal, but it will be... I'm sure it will go ahead. So many people have travelled so far for that. I'm sure it will go ahead. Southampton are winning 1-0 against West Ham at the moment. Oh my God. I don't know how Villa didn't just score there. We've got a Newcastle player down injured at the moment. Tackled Anthony and hurt himself, Botman. But a fantastic save by Kepa. I don't know whether there was an offside in it, but cross came in. McGinn with the shot. Oh, Ramsey should have scored. Ramsey should have scored that. Fantastic save by Kepa. Kepa, the keeper. Lovely save. Anyway, United are up and running again now. Fred and Shaw and Delay have been below par so far. Newcastle the better side so far. Newcastle have been the better side so far. Fred's getting a lot of stick in the chat. Is the Arsenal game happening in South Africa? Says the contrarian. And a free kick on the edge of the box here for Newcastle. Fred gives it away. Bruno's moaning at the ref. Looks like New have a plan and Man United are just reacting at the moment. What did I say about Joel Linton just powering through from the midfield though? And Fred's tackle was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, it's right in Trippier's area. Will it be a goal? I think if this is Trent Alexander-Arnold, you probably think it's a goal, but Trippier's good enough. Fred is showing why we need more signings. Simply not good enough. His positional sense is poor. Distribution is poor. Newcastle are pouring through that midfield, says Andrew. I like what you've done there with the words. And should we have a clear attacking pattern in the final third by now? At the moment, they look clueless, says Salim. We need to press collectively and reduce the gaps between attack and midfield and defence. We should move together, says Christopher. Everything we said before the game at the moment is just not happening. We're not keeping control of the ball. That's one player out of the team and we can't keep control of the ball. Eriksen. You know, you lose Eriksen and the team is all over the place. Absolutely all over the place. A lot of people saying that Trippier's going to score. It's perfect for Trippier. About 5 metres out from the edge of the box, slightly to the right. Sancho's having a lie down. He's had enough already. He's going to sleep. Liam's from the future and he says we lost. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. We're only a couple of hundred away from 508,000. Big chance here for Trippier. He's got a very good free kick on him. Into the wall. We get away with it. Does Donny leave in January or on loan? Oh, they've just hit the bar. They've just hit the bar. I tell you what, you're waiting to see what happens with the free kick. The free kick hits the wall and you go, oh, that's okay. But Newcastle, second ball, go and win the second ball, put it back into the box, header by Joel Linton onto the bar, and then another header onto the post. Post, then bar from Joel Linton. Double header. Unbelievable. He's at the Denver and then he's at the post. Post, then bar. By Joel Linton. I wanted to say Denver bar. By Joel Linton. So the free kick was the danger. Hit the wall. United snooze. Second ball goes in. Joel Linton heads onto the bar and then heads the follow-up onto the post. He's had double wood. Which normally is a good thing. But not for him today. Corner to Newcastle. And they're all over us at the moment. I feel a tweet's got to go in here. Why are we so inconsistent? Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Man United 25 minutes in. At least we are 25 minutes in. Newcastle, Manchester United, of course. But Arsenal Leeds not even started yet, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm aware, not concerned. And can you wish my mum a happy birthday? She's 51, says Carlos. Let's hope she sees 52. Why wouldn't she? Well done. Happy birthday. Have a great day. Don't know why I said that. Have a great day. Fred is horrible, says Mobbin. And Fred needs a rest. He's useless. Oh, he's got it on the left-hand side. Wins another corner. What a way to wish somebody a happy birthday, says Johan. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody used to say it in my family. I think it's a joke, isn't it? Fred, United haven't really created anything, have we? We've had a few half chances, but Newcastle have had the better chances. But I think they've also had the better system. What's the crack with Arsenal, says Connor? Don't know. Flock says, I think we're going to lose. Well, the positive is Arsenal versus Leeds already into the 27th minute, says Amir. No, it's not. It's suspended, pal. Don't know what game you're watching. You're playing FIFA, mate. Wake up. Mr. Robot, I just blocked you. Like, I've mentioned this so many times, and it just makes the chat really not what it's meant to be about. So if you're wondering why you're typing and no one's interacting with you, it's because you've been blocked. All Fred does is put his hand up to apologise, says Hackers. I tell you what, he'd be good at flagging a taxi down, wouldn't he? Although you don't even need to do that now. You just get an Uber. Game of half chances for Manchester United. The trouble is, we spoke about this before the game as well. Newcastle will just start to grow in confidence, won't they? The more the game's on. Shaw's doing well, says Jacob. Get off Fred's back, Mark, says Benzine. It's not me on his back, mate. It's the chat. I love don't you just love these fans, though? I mean, really, they should go and take up knitting or something. These fans who just like a player because they like the player. I mean, they've never met them. They've never holidayed with them. They've never even had a pint with them. But they loyally stick with players because they think they like them from the face they see on the TV screen. Oh, they look like my kind of guy. Don't matter that I've never met them in real life. Doesn't matter that they're total shit on the pitch. I just back them. I back them to the hill. I mean, what sort of knobheadery is that? Like, backing a player because you think you like the personality that you've never met, even though they're clearly not good enough in a United shirt. Now, that exists in the modern football fan world, doesn't it? People like players they've never met who are shit for some reason because they think they like them. I don't get it. Judge them on what they do in a Man United shirt, please. Please. And none of those players at the moment are doing anywhere near enough. This feels to me like it's being played at Newcastle. They seem like they're in the ascendancy. We're playing like the away side. Is Rashford better than Sancho, says Oxford Specialist Cars? He may well be, but he is not well. You do that with Ronaldo. Oh, yeah, I do, Saeed. I've spent 20 years of my life liking Ronaldo just because of the way he looks. Nothing to do with the fact he's one of the greatest players the world's ever had and his Wikipedia page proves it. I just did it because I quite like the look of him. Come on. It's worrying that we have so much possession lately but no threats, says Tom. And hey, Mark, just wondering, have you got a De Gea hoodie at all for sale, says Daniel. No, we haven't. Some people talking about another penalty for Newcastle for shirt holding. Apparently, Varane's shirt was being held as well. Are you going to do a Blandor watch along? No. I'd rather be manscaping. Remember, we are sponsored by Manscaped. 20% off, free worldwide delivery, fantastic products. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Manscaped. Fantastic. Callum Wilson and Martinez having a little bit of a pushing match. Dean said he used Manscaped, but he still looked tiny. Yeah, it won't make it grow, mate. It just makes it more visible. Sing Agadoo, says Jallo. I'll have a stretch. I'm not really in an Agadoo mood at the moment. Half an hour gone and United been absolutely mundane again. Not even the better team. Dan says, how's Casemiro doing? Well, I'll let the chat judge that. But the fact that it's 0-0 is a positive for Manchester United. But I don't think Casemiro's been bad. I think he's misplaced a few passes, hasn't he? But I don't think he's been terrible. But we're just not creating anything again. Nice Halloween vibes, seeing someone wearing a saw mask in the crowd. Never mind, that's just Amanda Stavely, who you have scoring today, says Sean O'Rourke. Well, Ronaldo ain't going to score if he doesn't get any service. Casemiro's doing all right, says Ed. Paulson's a bad ref, says Ricardo. The trouble we've got today, Newcastle have had 6 attempts to our 3. They've had 2 shots on target, we've had none. The problem we've got today is when you turn, when he looks behind, do you have a Dean Henderson hoodie for sale, says Aaron Williamson. No, but we have got toilet paper. That's a joke. We have got a situation where if Erik Ten Hag looks behind him today, he doesn't have a lot to look at. I'm not talking about looks, I'm talking about player quality. You've got Lindelof and Malacia, but the attacking options, not great. Kepa's just made a really good save, actually. Let me see. Yeah, good save. De Gea's just done a bad kick out. That'll be him. People will be saying, sell him. Man versus Machine's back from his vacation. Casemiro and Fred battling in the midfield, wins it back. That's good by Casemiro, but it's a terrible first touch. They just want it more at the moment, Newcastle. We're losing. We're just losing the battle all the time. Fred in the midfield again, losing the ball. It's very scrappy from United. They just can't get any rhythm going at all. That's a better ball out by De Gea, but then just very, very scrappy. Very, very scrappy. I think Joel Linton's gone down injured now. A lot of stop-starts, but United need a bollocking at half-time here. Ronaldo never gets the ball at the right time from the wide players. There's no service out there, Salim. There's no service. I can't hit it any better than that. There's no service. Please subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're only 10 away from 508,000. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We're having a bit of a drinks break at the moment. Let's have a quick look at what's going on at Arsenal. Oh, you'd be proper pissed off, wouldn't you? You'd be thinking, we'll watch the Arsenal game and then we'll get to watch the other one. And they're just not even up and running yet for the Arsenal game. Get Fred off for Iqbal, says the chat. Well, it's not a good performance from him. I've got no update on the Arsenal game with what's going on. This game shows exactly why Ten Hag wanted De Jong. And Fred, I'm going to do the tweet. So, thoughts on Fred so far? There you go. If you're on Twitter, at Mark Goldbridge, if I speak, I'll be in trouble. We'll just let it run. Donny van der Beek is notable by his absence. Get yourself fit, Donny. What do you think Erik Ten Hag is saying to the team, Mark, says Matt? Get hold of the ball and pass it better. John T, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. So Newcastle have had a few injuries, but nobody will bloody go off. Arsenal match resumes at 2:40. Says 58 go. And Fred, a liability again. Match is missing Eriksen's creativity. Shows why Frenkie de Jong type was needed. Says Kifel. And Bruno on Fred's position. Sancho on 10. And Rashi on the left from second half. Says Thomas. Did you have to explain to Dini and Ben Foster why you pronounced Target's name like he was French? Made me chuckle, says Joshua Bowater. No, they didn't ask, actually. So we've got 10 minutes to go to half time here. Probably a little bit of stoppage time. But United just not able to get on the ball enough. Do you think Iqbal will get any game time this season, says 8-bit? I'd give him game time now, mate. I mean, he's a big lad. He's energetic. He can pass the fucking ball. Fred just can't seem to do any of those things. He's like a rabbit in the headlights today. Sub Fred for Eriksen. Needs to get hold of that midfield. Eriksen's not on the bench, mate. He's not been dropped. He's ill. Oh my God, it's getting worse and worse for Fred. This is if you're somebody that doesn't like Fred and you go looking for reasons to say that's Fred's fault, that's Fred's fault, that's Fred's fault. I think if you love Fred, you just have to say he must be ill. It's one of he's having a bloody nightmare. He can't even connect with a pass when he's under no pressure. It's not a good. It's a sympathy vote for Fred. The player ratings are going to be very interesting. I'm just going to give him a 6 to be nice, but Newcastle. I don't know whether Newcastle. Well, I think Newcastle do deserve to be in front when you think about the Joel Linton double wood. He smacked the wood twice, bar and post. But they have just been the better side. They've been more... I'm going to have a look at the stats in a minute. Well, we can have a look at the stats at half-time, can't we? But I love Bruno, but sometimes he needs to look up and see who he's passing to, says Shiam. Again, I said this before the start of the game. Bruno needs to control the game, and he won't. Do you think Brentford is one of the best-run clubs in the league with the best ownership, says Oscar? I don't think about it, Oscar, to be honest. And Fred is like... Sorry, we'll come back to that. Trippier's going to put a cross in. United just seem to be waiting to concede here. We've cleared it, though. Freddie's like the sneak flavour origins. Option B, if you know, you know. What's your go-to sneak flavour, says Sean C. My go-to sneak flavour is cherry bomb. But even when we get away with the ball, we don't get away with the ball. That's a better long ball by Bruno. He's actually got us up the pitch here with Sancho. Nice little ball in. And Anthony gets a shot off. It could have been... Good chance, that. Good chance. Bruno getting a Sancho in down the left. It was a long ball, but Sancho got to it, slipped in Anthony. Probably our best move of the game because it was a shot within the 6-yard box. Good save with the keep by Pope, but good chance by Manchester United there. But a bit of respite, really. Mark, it crazy here at Old Trafford, says Dean. In what way? Fred off, Lindelof at centre-back, Martinez to CDM, says Rax. That's our best phase of play of the game, that. Bruno gets Sancho down the left, Sancho holds it up, plays a lovely little slip pass into Anthony. The angle's hard, but he forces a save from Pope, so it was good. And remember, it is 0-0. You can play badly and still get the result, and hopefully that will be the case. This is so frustrating. We started the Ten Hag way, except for Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle. I wouldn't take any of their players. This is so disappointing, Mark, says Addy. Well, the positive is it's 0-0. If we can keep it 0-0 or even do better before half-time, then hopefully he can make a few changes because Erik Ten Hag ain't stupid and he'll see this game and know exactly what's going to happen if we continue down this road. We're going to get beat. Tottenham, same points as City. They are serious, as Esmazik. Ronaldo in the graveyard shift again. He's having to come deep and he's got the ball deep here. Which forces Bruno to become the striker. Eric, thank you very much for the super chat there. Newcastle have the ball back. Fred to win as a free kick there. Oh, Raheem Sterling's just hit the bar. Sorry. You'll be like, what? United have just hit the bar? United are on the attack, though. Anthony, Fred, bad pass. Gets it back, passes it back to a United player, which is always a positive. Bruno takes a shot, blocked. I don't think Palestri could play Cam. I don't think Palestri could play the role. Fred's going to score, says Shane. It's the road to redemption. If Fred scores, it's the road to redemption, isn't it? Newcastle are very much the... It's not dominating from Newcastle, but I think the thing is, it's they're the better team at Old Trafford, and that's a bit of a worry. Anthony's just gone down here with a slap to the face. It wasn't deliberate. Burn Newcastle players caught him in the face. He's not gone up to him and gone, get Fred off. Always want an extra touch and would get shrugged off the ball by my 10-year-old niece, says Charlie Max. Thank you very much for the super chat, Charlie. Ronaldo's getting no service again, says Michael Clegg. Michael Clegg. Emily says something needs to be done about Fred ASAP. And I hope you were typing that. I think that looks like an angry type, Emily. So I put an angry expression on. Can't get Eriksen on, Keith. He's not on the bench. He's ill. Nice to see Sancho working back. I think Sancho's had a decent half. I mean, let's try and focus on the positive. Oscar needs a poo. That was a super chat. I wouldn't normally read it. Let's focus on the positives. I think Sancho's been bright. I think that Casemiro's been steady again. I think the defence has done reasonably well. But yeah, the problem... One player or two players can cause an issue. And Eriksen is... Look, I know Eriksen carried us, says L37. It's very unfair when you say one player makes such a big difference. But when I'm saying to you the defence is playing quite well, Casemiro's been decent, but we're not doing anything going forward, well, Eriksen's that player in this team that links the defence with the attack. We're asking Fred to do it. And he ain't Eriksen. So I think that's United's problem. The word we spoke about was control. Control of the game comes from Eriksen, and we don't have it. You need somebody to come on and control the game. Matt Morton says, take Fred out, move Bruno to midfield, have Sancho play 10 and put Alanga on the left. I mean, Matt, I do genuinely think that it's probably worthwhile doing something like that. We've got to get control of that midfield. Breezy says we've never had control, but we have more control with Eriksen in the team. Midfield's way too open, says Jonas. Luke Shaw is anticipating everything. Great selection for the game, says Charlie. I don't think the back five. I don't think the back five have done anything wrong. I don't think Casemiro's done anything wrong. I think Sancho's been decent. I think Ronaldo's just in the graveyard shift, and I think Fred is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. He's just been given the ball in the box and fell over it again. Will Erik Ten Hag trust Iqbal enough to take Fred off? Well, I've just tweeted there, Iqbal or Mainu can't be any worse than Fred. Paid £52 million for him. Yeah, he's definitely a player I wouldn't be giving a new contract to. Get Goldbridge on for Fred, says Tumbleweed. Oh, no, he's better than me. And do we have any wingers we could bring on? We could take Fred off and move them out wide, says Alec Miller. Oh, Cross came in there for Ronaldo. I actually love your hair. What did you ask for, says Callum. Well, I call it the Goldbridge cut. Do you seriously want to know what my hair is? You're making me feel quite proud here. You're taking the piss, aren't you? You've got to ask yourself, where was Paul Pogba in all this, says Julian. I've played the game. Where is Paul Pogba in all of this? I played the game. People blaming Fred. I've played the game. People blaming Fred. I've played the game. It's Paul Pogba. Fred's contract's up in 18 months, Eduardo. If we give him a new contract, we're bloody stupid. Right, somebody just said, seriously, tell us what you do. So I have number 2, back and sides, about an inch off the top, side parting, raise it in. That's it. And then blend it in. So 2 back and sides, inch off the top, blend in the layers, side parting, raise it in. It's as simple as that. It's a Goldbridge cut. Mark, have you noticed Casemiro does the early foul? You mentioned Reece City. Also, Anthony is hard as nails, pulls out of nothing. Love the channel, by the way, says Rich. Yeah, I'm not going to... I mean, we're very close to half-time now, but I'm not going to run away with this at half-time and start blaming everybody. In the words of Souness, he's played the game, and Fred just is good as Eriksen, says Martin Vella. Yeah, I'm not running away with this performance and saying, oh, everybody's shit, everybody's shit. I really do think one player can make a big difference, and one player can make a big difference in a positive way. They can make a big difference in a negative way, and I think Fred's got to come off. Every loser wins once Fred comes off for Iqbal. In time you'll see Iqbal holds the key. £52 million for Fred. Eriksen on a free. It should have been the other way around. Charlie Max. How do you think Pogba would be doing under Eric if he stayed? Would we have seen the best Pogba? Well, he'd be injured, Raz. Let's be honest. And Roland, welcome to the Members Club. So we're about to hit half-time here. Cross came in, header on the front post. Bruno put on Barry Reid at CDM, says Cisco. Barry Reid, the legend. It's actually a good cross from Delo, and Bruno takes up a good position. Melbourne victory better than Man United, said Oscar. Is it possible to have a touch that is so poor that it's obnoxious? Fred needs to come off, says Stephen. Well, it's half-time, Villa and Chelsea, 1-0 to Chelsea. Does the sale of Garner put continuing the start of Fred as one of the worst moves in the Glazer earlier, says Taylor. Do you know why Man United sold Garner? I keep saying this. The only reason they sold Garner, it's nothing to do with anything else other than they needed to bring some money in, and he was the only player they could get money for. No one will pay for Fred. Brandon Williams, Twan Sebi, Phil Jones, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They sold Garner because Garner was the only player they could get money for. Right, it's half time. I think the chat's about to kick off. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready. Let's get steady and rumble. Everybody rumble. Right. Let me get the chat going. Okay, so I want to first of all, I just want to why can't I? Where has it gone? Where have I put it? Oh, I'll have to find it. Leeds and Arsenal have been playing for 10 minutes now. First thing I want to say is that you can't have it your own way all the time. And what I mean by that is people will moan about the whole team. I'm not going to moan at Sancho, who when he's got the ball has looked okay, or Anthony, who's looked okay, or Ronaldo, who's been a graveyard shift, or Bruno, who, look, obviously Bruno could be better, but I think Bruno at the moment just isn't playing to his best. I don't think he's been terrible. I thought the back five's done well. I think Casemiro's been okay. The big problem in that team, and you can't, we've got to be consistent here as football fans. You can't sit there like we were before the game saying, oh, I'm worried that we haven't got Eriksen today. That could be a real problem for Manchester United without Eriksen. What we're going to do. And then Eriksen doesn't play, Fred plays, and Fred puts in a performance like that. I'm not massively bothered. Well, I am bothered, but I'm not massively unhappy with the rest of the team. I think what we're seeing here today is how when you don't have a player that has been so important for Manchester United in recent weeks, Christian Eriksen, and is quite visibly the only player that offers up a link between the defence and the midfield and the attack. We are 0-0 with Newcastle, who've had marginally the better chances, but they are better than us because we don't have Eriksen and we have Fred in the team, and it's a problem. It's a real problem for us, and I think that how he solves that, he's got to change that at half-time. I just want to go through these stats on the screen here. So, stats at half-time, 62% possession for Man United. Doesn't feel like it, but you'd normally say that's quite good. 6 shots to 7, but this is where it starts to go wrong. They've had more on target than us. They've had the same amount of corners as us. They've put more tackles in than us. I think it's the sort of half where actually the possession tells a bit of a lie, because that makes it look like we've had a bit more control of the game, and we haven't. I think Newcastle have let us have the ball deeper, and higher up the pitch we've not done enough. We've got to be very, very careful in this game because, in my opinion, I don't know what yours are, but in my opinion, if I had to award, if that was a boxing match and I've got to give one of the teams a win, I'd give it to Newcastle. They've thrown more punches. They have. I'd probably give it to Newcastle 1-0 on a scoreline, but it's 0-0. So at half-time, Erik ten Hag has got to change something, because if we go into the second half like the first half, maybe Newcastle do get the goal. Maybe we nick a goal, but they look more likely to win the game. They've got more control of the game, and they're going to get more confident as the crowd becomes more impatient. I agree with the chat. I think you've got to take Fred off. I think Fred is the player that has, unfortunately, caused Manchester United a lot of problems. His touch is abysmal. I don't need to look at stats. His touch is abysmal, and his overall game has caused us massive, massive issues. So I think you've got to take him off. And if we don't take him off, I think we're going to lose this game because we're not creating enough. As I said there, there's people out there that just don't like Fred unfairly. They think he's a crap footballer. Welcome to the Members Club, Jack and Troy, by the way. And there's people out there that do like Fred because he has a smile on his face and he's a nice guy. But that performance from him is just every time he gets the ball, it breaks down. Every time he tries to make a tackle, he's getting knocked off the ball. He's basically putting us down to 10 men. It's dangerous. Now, the question, like KC says, is who you take him off for. I think you've got to get inventive. McTominay's suspended, Eriksen's ill, Van der Beek is injured. So 3 of your midfield options aren't there. Fred's got to come off. I don't think he will take him off, but he's got to take him off. Now, I've got to agree, bringing a Mainu or an Iqbal on is a massive risk. It's a massive risk, and it's a bit disrespectful to Newcastle to think you can bring in an untested kid to play in a game like this. It's brave. You can do it. I've seen other managers do it. You could do it. He won't do that. So if he's not going to give Iqbal or Mainu a chance, you can't really put Garnacho or Palestri into a position like that, or Elanga or Rashford. Would you put Malacia in there? Would you put Lindelof in there? You could do that. But I think logically, I'd put Bruno back there. I'd move Sancho to centre, and I'd bring Rashford or Elanga on the left. And I know it's not ideal, but Fred is going to cost us the game. If we lose this game, and it's because we didn't make that change, then people will say, well, Ten Hag got it wrong, because everybody knew that was the problem. So this is why Ten Hag gets paid the big bucks. How he reacts to this at half-time will make a big difference. He might have a word with Fred, and Fred might play better in the second half, and we might go and win, and we'll go, brilliant manager. But for me, and I think for a lot of you, I don't think it's going to get any better from Fred, because I think Newcastle know they've got the beating of him, and I think you've got to make the change. And for me, I wouldn't put one of the kids on. I wouldn't be putting Martinez into the midfield. I'd put Sancho in at 10. I'd drop Bruno next to Casemiro, and I'd bring Rashford on for Fred or Elanga on for Fred and go like that way. We really need to have a chat about Dalot. Needless to give the ball away 3 times in the first half, says Sean. I don't think we do need to have a chat about Dalot, Sean, because what are we going to do? There's no one else. That's the problem with Dalot. There's no one else. Take Fred off for Rashford, put Bruno deep, says FIFA Crazy. Fred off, Bruno deeper, says Bradley. A lot of people thinking that. Can't believe how much a player can single-handedly destroy the chemistry within a team. Fred in the middle just kills us. You're telling me Iqbal can't get in, says Kevin. Is it worth reassessing the view that Fred is a squad player and can come in and do a job? No. Yes, James, it is. I think he's a player that needs to go. Based on the last 2 games, what does Fred offer? He can't even come into a fucking game where we need him and do it. I'm convinced number 17 ain't a player, says Sultan. Check his passport. Matt Morton says, when's the last time Bruno didn't put a shot over the bar? Shaw's our player of the half. Defensively, he's stepping up to keep his place. Sancho, 6.8, says Matt. Fred isn't making passes or tackles. Iqbal Mayers will be given a chance, says Lewis. And Fred off and Lindelof on. Move Martinez to CDM. I think that's our best option, says Sean. Lots of good suggestions in the chat. Most of them I can't disagree with. I might not do what you're saying, but I can't disagree with the thought process behind thought process behind it. But honestly, I don't think he makes a change at half time. I don't think he will make a change at half time. I think he will keep Fred in for whatever reason. I think he will keep him in, but it's a risk. And if he does keep him on, I hope it works, because the big problem you've got is if you keep Fred on, the team's got to go up by about 25%. And that normally can help. That can normally be helped by making a substitution. Please don't respect Newcastle. They're actually a good team and they're playing well and they deserve to be 1-0 up. But they're not 1-0 up. It's 0-0. And it's a game of 2 halves. And if I'm in there at half time, I'm like, forget that first half. It's crap. It went wrong because this, and this. In my head, I know it went wrong because of Fred. So I make that change and I go, right, we're going to make a change. Fred's coming off. Such and such is coming on. Get control of the ball. Move it better. You know, we're giving the ball away a lot as well. Like the person in the chat said, Dalot's giving the ball away a bit. Casemiro's giving it away a bit. Even the defence passing out is giving it away a bit. Ronaldo's in a graveyard shift. Fred's just like it's like we're playing with 10 men. Control is important, and they are giving us the ball, 62% of possession, but we're not doing anything with it. So there is a platform there for us to get hold of the game. Now let's go and get hold of the game. But I think he has got to make a change. I just don't think he will do it, to be honest. But yeah, I would make a change, certainly at half time. Let's have a look what people are saying in the chat. So also, FIFA Crazy, it's games like this which outline our frustration with the board. No alternative to Eriksen could cost us. Hi Mark, I personally think McTominay and Fred need to go. These two can have a few good games and drop it all in one match. It's hard to trust them, says CGI. Bruno playing deep is even more dangerous. He will just keep smacking long balls, says Salim. I mean, yeah, there's no guarantee that Bruno would be able to do that role. Sean said you could move Martinez in there and put Fred off for Lindelof. You could do that. Fred off for Rashford. I'd drop Bruno back, Sancho as the cam, and Rashford on the left. I wouldn't drop any of the young lads in there yet, says Matty. I've got to agree. I personally wouldn't put Iqbal on. If he did it, I would back Ten Hag to the hilt. I think it's ridiculously brave to do it, and it might work. Personally, I do agree that it's a bit unfair to chuck a young player into a game like that against a good team like Newcastle. It's not what I would do, but if Ten Hag decided to do it, I would never criticise him for it and I would back him for it. But I do think there's a better option. I do think there are other things that you could do just to take Fred off and get somebody in there. I mean, Martinez in there might not be a bad idea, but the problem is if it works, people will start saying, let's play Martinez in the midfield, and we don't want that. John Joe Shelby off the bench to win it. I think he's injured, Alfie. And thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Bruno has to learn to create from deep, says Lampai. And look, it's very difficult for me to assess the game, the players individually. I think Casemiro's done okay. I think Luke Shaw's done well. I think Dalot's not been great, but we don't really have any other option. That's not his fault. Varane and Martinez have done okay. De Gea's done okay. Sancho's done pretty well. Anthony's done okay. Bruno, it's hard to assess because I think he's living off scraps, and Ronaldo's definitely living off scraps in this game so far. So I just think if we can sort that Fred position out, maybe, just maybe, we will get a little bit more grasp of the game. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Don't forget, by the way, we're sponsored by Manscaped. 20% off plus free worldwide shipping. If you don't know what Manscaped is, It's basically trimming for your family jewels. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Don't be shy. They're fantastic. A lot of you have bought them in the past. Really, really good products delivered directly to your door. They make a big difference. 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Scan the QR code or go through the link in the description. The code is United Stand. The Lawnmower 4.0. Light for a more precise shave. You can have adjustable lengths if you want to go Brazilian. Electromagnetic induction, battery charging. So you just put it into the pot, into the plant like that. Not in a plant, you know, the docking bay. And what else was there? Something else as well. Waterproof as well. Also, you can get it as part of a performance package where you get the weed whacker, which is for your nose and stuff. Boxer shorts, travel bag, the whole lot. Check it out. Links in the description. I think Ten Hag needs to trim the grass. Yes, I agree with you. I think he does. I think he does need to trim the grass a bit. Fred's been a disaster every time. Replace Van der Beek, says Daniel. I mean, we're all talking about players we could replace with, but they're all bloody injured. I mean, Donny van der Beek is just a massive frustration. Massive frustration to me. If Donny van der Beek was fit, then he'd be getting game time. But he's not fit, so he can't get game time. So we can talk about Donny van der Beek. Of course we can talk about Donny van der Beek. But we can't play Donny van der Beek because he's not bloody fit. We can't talk about, we can't talk about an option at right back because they're not fit. It's frustrating. It's proper frustrating, says Mongi. It is. I can almost hear a Sir Alex team talk before this game. Go and show them we're still top dogs and they have a long way to go to catch us. Different times. I know, but we're a wet lettuce, says Nick P. Richard and Robin, thanks for becoming a member. Watching Odegaard play now. Bruno has great stats, but long-term success, he's not doing enough. His impact pass is amazing. Bruno is a hit and miss, says Sharath Mathvinas. Look, if you are a member of the channel and you've got a bit of time this week, check out the video we uploaded for you yesterday. It was basically me comparing the stats of Odegaard, Maddison, De Bruyne and Bruno this season. And we need an Odegaard number 10. And there's a difference. Bruno and De Bruyne as number 10s are risk takers. They're goal scorers, they're assist makers, they like the long pass. Odegaard doesn't hit many long passes. He's a controlling number 10. He's what Eriksen would do in that position. He gets the ball and he likes the 5 and 10 yard pass, the probing pass. Let's keep control. He still scores and he still gets assists. He's a lot more careful with the ball. I suppose that's the word, care. Bruno's a risk taker. He likes to get his head up and hit a long killer pass. Odegaard likes to keep the ball. And I think that is what we need in a game like this when you haven't got Eriksen. Fred's a liability, says Manchild. Loses the ball on the edge in really bad positions all the time. Always lackluster, unable to tackle players in a transition. You know, the thing about Fred for me is, and I don't think this gets asked enough, and maybe you can answer it. The thing about Fred for me, what is he? What is he? He's definitely not a holding midfielder. We know that. He can't receive the ball with his back to goal. His passing range is not good enough. So he's not a holding midfielder. He's not an attacking midfielder because his creation and shooting is not good enough. Is he a box-to-box midfielder? Is he good enough in the tackle and good at transitioning the ball from midfield to attack? No. What is Fred? He's a midfielder, but what is he? He's energetic. He puts a shift in. But what are his attributes? Is he a good passer? No. Is he a goal scorer? No. Is he good at creation? No. Is he good at tackling? He's tenacious, but is he good at tackling? Is he good at tracking runners? No. He's just... I nearly said, he can have a good game, but he can't be consistent because actually he doesn't really have identifiable attributes. He can definitely have a good game. I mean, he's coming on for the second half. It can't be worse. He cannot be any worse. He probably scores a hat-trick and we win the game. Because it cannot be any worse. It really can't. But he's coming on for the second half here. Sip of water. Paracetamol, actually. I've got a bit of a headache. Right, let's get ready to go for the second half, everybody. No changes for either side. I didn't expect there to be a change. I really didn't think he would make any changes at half time. I think he should have done. But if he gets it right by not making changes, then fair play. Erik Ten Hag is the manager. That's what you expect from your manager. You hope he gets it right, don't you? Let's wait and see. Let me just get the carousel going for you, so you can see that we've got the same team there. The stats on the screen as well. And we're up and going there. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Don't forget, after this game, we've got the match reaction. You can do the player ratings. And then after that, I'm going straight into Liverpool versus Man City. Lots of football to get involved in today. So Fred's still on the pitch. He's back on. Didn't think he'd take him off. Rogine says he is a box-to-box midfielder. He's just not very good. Also, I know all this talk about him playing with Casemiro at Brazil was false hope, says Rogine. I tell you, you're going to see it in the World Cup. International football. What does that tell me about Premier League football, Champions League football? International football's a bubble. It's a bubble. Harry Maguire plays well in a back five for England. Does he play well for Manchester United in a back four? No. Don't take international football and think, oh, he's good for Brazil. He must be a good player. Different world. Another clueless manager just put Sancho 10, says Phil. Thanks for the super chat there, Phil. Right. Well, look, it's a risk keeping Fred on. Newcastle have just had an early shot in the box as well. They ain't going to stop. They ain't going to stop. United trying to pass out from the back and De Gea trying to pass it to Fred. Just don't pass to Fred. I don't think that's necessarily Fred's fault there. De Gea tried to pass it into Fred and, they're on him. It's funny, though, I was talking to Troy Deeney about this last week. About 18 months ago, Watford played Manchester United when Troy Deeney was there. And he let it slip that Fred was a player that they targeted as a weakness because he likes to take a touch. So you know that when Fred receives the ball, you can get on him. Exactly the same thing there. When the ball's going into Fred, Newcastle, 3 players go straight at him because they know he's not a one-touch passer. Better from United there. De Gea gets the ball out. Fred loses it. Ronaldo has scored, but it's offside. He was offside in the build-up. Don't get excited. The ball's in the net, but Ronaldo was offside in the build-up by a long way. It is turning into one of those afternoons where I think we just want to try and get a result here, don't we? Half the game's not been good enough, and let's just try and have a better second half performance and grind it down a bit. He was coming from an offside position, says Tumbleweed, yeah. Ronaldo and Sancho combined, but Ronaldo had already... Well, now Ronaldo's scored a goal here, and he's saying that Nick Pope has kicked the ball. Now, this could be really controversial. Now, Ronaldo is saying that Nick Pope, when he's going to take a kick, has actually kicked the ball. There's a bit of controversy going on here. He's yellow carded Ronaldo now, so we're not going to get the goal. Ronaldo is saying that Nick Pope had kicked the ball, and he's tried to take advantage of it. No, he's never going to get away with that. You're never going to get away with that. Not in the Premier League. Not in the Premier League. So basically what had happened is the ball was there for a free kick. The Newcastle defender kicked it to Nick Pope to take the free kick. And Ronaldo's saying, well, that's the kick. So he's gone and scored a goal. And he's been booked for it. It's a stupid yellow card. I'm not even watching him. Fred's driving me mad, says Adam. I don't know why Ronaldo has to get a yellow card for that. Hi Mark, hope you're well. I'm not trying to be harsh, but it stays like this throughout the game. Fred should be given a 3 or 4 match rating, says Spotted. And Fred is a passing centre midfielder with undeveloped attacking qualities. He would really only work in a continental style league, not a physical league, says the Riddler. And how do you think we're playing so far, Mark, says Swift? Pretty much the same way that we played on Thursday, really. It's I tell you what, though, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we win. think if you know what, I think if Eriksen had played, we probably would be winning. I really do think that one player makes the difference. Everybody universally is saying that Fred's terrible, and yet the game is still 0-0. So if Fred's terrible and you put Eriksen in there, surely we'd be better, yes. And better might be 1-0 to United. I knew this game was going to be tight. Anybody who thought this was going to be 3 or 4-0 or 3-2, it was always going to be tight. Mark, would Darren Gibson make it into this team, says the Football 454. I don't know about that. But Adam said expect goals. I'll sack him for that. Ronaldo's completely washed, says Thomas. Bit of a waste of a £2 super chat, Thomas, that. And score prediction for Liverpool Man City, says Jokers. I think Man City are going to take them apart. I hope they don't, but I think City might take them apart, to be honest, yeah. $3-2 would be tight. No, I said I don't think there'll be more than 3 goals in this game. We'll be lucky if we get that. Can you turn that down a bit, Sebo? Thanks. Aside from Fred, our final ball has been atrocious. It's either too quick or too delayed, says Kate. Control of the ball is a massive issue for United. If you get control of the ball, you have large phases of the game where you can... I mean, De Gea's longer distribution has been very good today. That's a bad kick. I've jinxed it. Why do I talk? Yeah, I think Rashford will be coming on in a minute. Rashford's warming up, says Daniel Jones. How do you watch CJ and Mark El Clasico predictions? I think it's about to kick off, Lost, to be honest with you. And how is Fred still playing, says Randy. Probably because there's nobody else to bring on. James says it's surely better for United if City win. Well, I don't. Liverpool aren't going to win the league, so I don't want City to win the league. There's an opportunity for them neither to win the league. I'd be quite happy with that. I don't even care if Arsenal win the league over City. I'd rather Arsenal win the league over City and Liverpool. Bring back Jemba, says Cryptic. And remember when people said we should start Henderson over there because of distribution. Funny times. United are in here down the left-hand side. And I think it's a goal kick, not a corner. Interesting one. Arsenal are 1-0 up, by the way. Oh, I think that could have been a penalty on Ronaldo. I don't know why he's not looking at it. He's literally knocked his standing foot. Not giving it. So any Newcastle fan who thinks they should have had a penalty in the first half, United should have had a penalty then. So at least it's equalled itself out. Soft or not, I think it's very obvious that Trippier knocks Ronaldo's standing foot there. So ref's crap. Hi, Zach. Mark, do you have a crush on Charlie? You become very camp every time you're on your camera with him. Right, you're blocked. Idiot. Mark, I don't think the midfield is creating enough for the attack, says Otis. And you give Ronaldo a pass for terrible performances, says Thomas James. Why are you so bothered about what I say, Thomas? Do you cry at night? Oh, Goldbridge likes Ronaldo. Well, can't go to bed. It's not right. Grow up. Is VAR refs on holiday, says Cliff. Arsenal are winning 1-0. I'm not that fussed about the Ronaldo penalty shout because, to be honest, there was a penalty shout in the first half for Newcastle. So you either give them both or you don't give them both. So I suppose it's 1-1 really. A little bit more control of the ball from Man United in this second half, to be fair. I mean, this phase of play has been quite good. More patience on the ball. Bruno playing the more probing pass. And then I'm trying not to be positive about the passing because every time I say it, the next pass from Bruno is a bad one. Conor Gallagher's coming on for Chelsea, if you're interested. Still 1-0 there. 1-0 to Arsenal against Leeds. There's a team that knows how to score goals. Oh, God. Newcastle are getting more fans, aren't they? Like flies round shit, isn't it? When a club gets bought by a billionaire, it attracts a certain sort of fan, doesn't it? I feel sorry for the proper Newcastle fans because your fan base is about to get infiltrated with people who haven't even got a clue who Alan Shearer was. We need Tony Martial, says Sebastian. Right, there's another penalty shout here on Sancho. Now, are they going to look at this one? The referee is a prat. He's got to have a look at this one. I don't know whether it is a penalty. Oh, it should be back now. Should be back now. He's not giving the penalty. He's not giving the penalty. Absolute joke. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. The thing is, there's been two there. There's been two in the last 10 minutes where they're borderline penalties. You can't just go, no, we're with you, Craig. We're with you, Craig. You've got it right. You've got it right, Craig. Don't worry, Craig. We're not here to undermine you. We know you're a crap. We know people call you crap, Craig. We know you're crap, Craig, but we're going to stick with you. VAR is not here to tell the truth. It's to stick by crap referees. So, Craig, yeah. We're saying no penalty, Craig. We're going to stick with you, Craig. No penalty. We know you're fucked up, Craig, but we're going to stick with you. Crappy Craig. Crappy Craig. We'll stick with you, Craig. You're going to be our next Anthony Taylor. You're going to go to the World Cup for England. We like the cut of your jib. Crappy Craig Pawson. What a twat. I thought the Trippier one was debatable. I think the Sancho one is bloody clear. Send him to Qatar, yeah. Referees, eh? Yeah, well, that's not a penalty on Ronaldo. That one's not. I'm not going to start saying everything's a penalty because I want a penalty. That's not a penalty. Ronaldo's just gone down in the box. That's not a penalty. But the one on Sancho is a penalty. The trouble is, when it comes to penalties, VAR is useless because what their rule is will only overrule the referee if it's clear and obvious. And they'll look at that and go, well, the referee thinks that the contact's not enough, so we're gonna say it's not enough as well. How is that not a penalty, says Claude. Ryan says football's becoming painful. And now he's just given a soft penalty, a soft free kick against Martinez. He's a rubbish referee, Pawson. I don't know why people think it. I agree with you, Den. It looked like it was a dive from Wilson. He's a rubbish He's a rubbish referee anyway. Thing is, though, he just gives a free kick for Callum Wilson going down softly, but then doesn't give a penalty to us because he thinks it's soft. He's a fool. I think it was a penalty on Ronaldo as well. I do, but I'm willing to say that wasn't a penalty because I think the second one definitely is. We probably need it. The thing is, we probably do need a penalty, Paco. I think we do. It's always going to be a tight game against Newcastle. Always going to be tight. They've only conceded more than one goal twice this season. And one of those was the bloody 109th minute added time goal at Anfield. So they don't concede many goals at Newcastle. So when you get a penalty, you bloody need it to be given. Callum Wilson should be Tom Daly's partner, says Emily Derry. And I'm sorry, Mark, but Ten Hag's refusal to make early subs has to be called out. He waits every game too long, says Jameson Gray. I have wrote that down now, actually, as a topic point, because I do think that we're taking too long to do our subs here. Anthony says, must we rely on penalties? But that's such a bollocks thing to say, isn't it? Like, sometimes you've got to respect the opposition. You know it's going to be tight. And, you know, look at Spurs yesterday. They got the penalty in a tight game. It basically gave them the win against Everton. If you earn a penalty, it should be given. Saying, oh, you can't... Oh, Chelsea are 2-0 up, Mount again. You can't just say, well, we shouldn't be relying on penalties. They're part of the game. Martinez is... Wilson's getting into Martinez's head, says Matt. There's a free kick by Mount, actually. Keeper should do better, really. Done him with the eyes there. Got him. Good free kick. Made Martinez look foolish. He's booked Bruno as well. I think it is a red. It's not a red. I think that is a yellow card by Bruno. I do think it is a yellow card, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Craig's crap. Craig Pawson's crap. Crap ref, Craig. Show the bloody penalty back again. That's what the people want to see. Show the penalty. Does anyone put it on Twitter? Has anyone got a link on Twitter? I want to look at this penalty in slow-mo. Off topic, but this has to be Gerrard's last game, says Connor. Yeah, I agree. I've got it. Oh my God! It's stone wall! It's absolutely stone wall. Have you seen this back? I can't show it yet. I wish I could. How have VAR not given this? I'm not joking. Median Sports is on. I've got it on Twitter. Let me make sure I've got no noise on. Oh my God, it's Stonewall. He literally skins him, Sancho. Oh my God. I can't believe I've just seen it back. Absolutely Stonewall penalty. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. You know what? It's so bad. It's so bad. If you got the chance to watch that foul on Sancho back, Mark, we will be too far to next season. Up the tunes, says Jamie Taylor. Benzema's scored. It is a pen, but Sancho makes the most of it, says 58. Oh, yeah. He's done what I used to do. Make a bloody meal of it. You know, we're not just having a starter. We're having a meal. We're having a main meal and a dessert. But it's still a bloody penalty. And the fact that VAR hasn't said to him, at least go and have a look. Ooh, what kind of prats have we got at VAR? The finest prats in the world, mates. The finest prats in the world. Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. Well, 20 minutes to go here. I don't know when he's going to make some subs because... Oh, they're rolling around now trying to get Casemiro a card. Yellow card for Casemiro. Ref's losing control here. Ronaldo is not pressing, says Fours. That's a good tackle by Casemiro. Goes for the second ball. Goes, it's not a red. Tries to get the ball. It's getting tasty. Probably a yellow card, that, for Casemiro. Nothing more. Frustration maybe bubbling over from Man United. Why is he not making any subs? Good point. Well made. Frankie says, how's Casemiro stayed on the pitch? Because it wasn't a bloody red. He went for the ball. You know, sometimes you can go for the ball and it can look nasty if it's a bit late. But he's not gone to injure the player. He's genuinely gone for both tackles. The first one was a good one. Second one is a little bit late. It's a yellow card. Not a red. I smell a winner, says Daniel. I think we deserve a winner. I think in the second half, we've been the better side. Newcastle in the second half haven't created anything. I think we've been the better side in the second half. Should have had a bloody penalty as well. We are a bunch of moaners. Rashford's coming on. Who's he going to take off, though? Ronaldo. Not happy. Don't think Ronaldo's happy. We need Maxi running at your defence, says Jamie Taylor. He's not happy, Ronaldo. Well, he's not a striker, is he, Rashford? So hopefully it works. Probably can't believe he's been taken off before Fred. It's a risk. I'd be pissed off if I was Ronaldo though, because basically you've run around for 70 minutes with fuck all service, and then the last 20 minutes when maybe the chance is going to come, you get taken off. It's frustrating, and it's frustrating when you see a couple of players who've played way worse than you staying on the pitch. So he's got every right to moan. I mean, I wouldn't say it, and I think you've got to be professional, but I'd just be thinking that. I'd be thinking, why am I being taken off the pitch and that bag of shit in the midfield is staying on? Like, it's embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for me to be subbed off and he stays on the pitch. But you've got to believe in the manager. You've got to respect the manager, and deep down Ronaldo will do that, but he'll be pissed off. Of course he will. 1-0 Newcastle win, written all over it, says Fuzan. I think keeping Fred on, for me, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And people say, well, Ronaldo wasn't pressing. Here's Anthony down the right-hand side. He's got no left foot. Tries to cross it. Ronaldo wasn't pressing from the front. And? I think it's 3. Oh, no. Yeah, Ronaldo's not pressing from the front. So, and that matters why. Go and sign up to Jamie Carragher's expertise on football skills. This pressing from the front bollocks is just overhyped. He wasn't pressing from the front. We don't fucking press as a team. What are you talking about? He wasn't pressing from the front. We're not a pressing team. If he was pressing from the front, he would be wasted energy. We don't know how to fucking press, so what's the point? He wasn't pressing from the front, Mark. What, like the rest of them? We don't press as a fucking team. I thought Eric Ten Hag was a sideline coach, but he spends the whole match sitting comfortably and not making subs, says Jameson Gray. And Mark, I think Bruno Guimaraes is better than any of yours. Yeah, he's a very good player. Very good player. No, but I want Ten Hag to do well. He is a manager that wants his team to press, but these players can't fucking do it. And I get tired of this, modern take on football that your forwards got to press. It's wasted energy. Why would you press? Why would you press if no one else is doing it? If your boss at work tomorrow says, get down and give me 20 press-ups to your whole floor, and everyone else just sits there eating their bagel and going, I'm not going to do it, would you get down and do it? What's the point? No, there's no point in doing it. One person doesn't make a press. The whole team's got to do it. We don't do it. Watch United. To press, the front three have got to do it. The midfield three have got to do it. The fullbacks have got to do it. The centre-backs have got to do it. We don't do it. Look at us now. Where's the press here? Newcastle is just run past Rashford, goes back, passes it around. They're taking a touch. There's no press there until Dalot bursts forward. Now Rashford's got the balls to Rashford. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fred takes a shot, blocked. Not winning today will be a disaster given the next two games, which are both very losable, says Rory C. We can't press as a team because we have a striker with a bigger ego than Goldbridge. Yeah, Luke, you don't understand anything about football, mate. With all due respect, it's not the striker's job to get the team to press. It's the manager. I can't believe you would even type that. To sum it up, for me, we just aren't an exciting team to watch anymore. Felt this way for years, yet we get excitement rarely, but no consistency, says Blake B. Ronaldo gets no service. Man United should swap Bruno, Guimaraes and McTominay plus add-ons, says Vala. Well, the player ratings are going to be very interesting. You can You can do it through the link in the video description. Let me get it added. How long we got left? Yeah, player ratings. There we go. We should get. They're up on the unitedstand.com. 3 substitutions for Newcastle. Triple substitution. Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe. This is brave. Fred is good second half. Great passing. Stats are better than Casemiro, says Michael. Mate, I don't care what people says. I think Fred's shit. I'm sorry. I don't care I don't care how he lures you in with his smiles. He is not a very good footballer. And if Eriksen had played this game, I think it would have been very, very different. I hope we can get a winner, and I hope it's from Fred, because then it justifies Ten Hag keeping him on, and I want Ten Hag to do well. But I don't think he's a very good footballer. I don't think he's had a very good second half. Good afternoon, Goldbridge. Rashford is lazy. We still need a lot of work to do, says Daryl. No, but apparently Ronaldo doesn't press, and Rashford does press. So let's watch 15 minutes of how to press from Marcus Rashford from the front. We're going to get a masterclass now. Tom says that Fred's the only player putting 100% in. Oh, great. We're back to the Ollie days. We're back to Effort FC. Passion, energy and desire and trust. We've already given up on trying to be a football side. We're now back to that. We should have a penalty. That's still pissing me off. Still pissing me off. You should have a... Let me just check this is there. Links in the video description, I hope, for the player ratings. It is mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average, or just go straight to the unitedstand.com. You'll see it on there. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average, star for your man of the match. We'll go straight to that after this game. It's currently, obviously, 0-0 here. Apparently Milner's playing at right back for Liverpool. Is there oil on the pitch? Newcastle sure to roll around on it. Good chance on the edge of the box for Newcastle there. It's been a long afternoon, hasn't it? Most times watching your reaction is the best part of the game. Greetings from Baltimore, says Christian. I mean, what are the stats saying? I haven't seen the stats go around for a while. Remember, you can get Manscaped delivered to your door. So, what we got? 60% possession to 40%. Shots are equal. It's just not. We've just not done enough to win it, have we? We needed that penalty. Fred gives the ball away again. And United get a free kick on the edge. Come on. Just a moment of madness now. A moment of magic. Rashford, Bruno, somebody, free kick, set piece. We need the 3 points today. You know, I don't really care how we get them. Not sure that was a foul on Luke Shaw, by the way, but we'll take it. Surprise me, Rashford, says Paul. It might be a Rashford area. I think Bruno might want it. Oil days never left. We need to stop blinding ourselves. Glazers out, says Made of Sounds. McTominay does the box-to-box job infinitely better than Fred, says Iram. Get Scooby-Doo on. He has the passion. He's suspended, Ronan. We can't get Scooby-Doo on. Take what we can get today. I just want the win. We should have had a penalty. I don't think Newcastle have looked like they were going to score second half. I think we defended really well second half. Tell me I'm wrong. And it's just about getting the ball in the back of the net. We need to get 3 points today. I'd let Bruno hit this, not Rashford. I think Rashford scores 1 goal in 100. He's not a free kick taker. I know he scored that unbelievable goal against Chelsea, but when was the last time Rashford scored a free kick? Not today. Over the bar. Mark, if you guys don't want the GOAT, I'm sure we can afford him, says Jamie Taylor. It amazes me how half the United fans have a problem with him, says Jamie. I just think, you know, I think it's just been one of those afternoons where not many players are going to come out of it very Get Geldart and Goldbridge on, says Lee. When was the last time he scored a free kick? Was it that worldy? Wow. Unnecessary hate for Fred for the whole team is bad, says Mohammed. It's not hate though, mates. Nobody should be hating on anybody, but if you don't understand football, then you're lost. You play Fred instead of Ericsson, it's going to be a problem. And it has been a problem. I mean, Fred's just done a stupid fucking flick there in the middle of the pitch to Casemiro. And we've lost the ball. And then Newcastle on the attack. What's he fucking flicking the ball for on the halfway line and allowing Newcastle to get the fucking attack in? It's stupid. It's stupidity like that as to why he shouldn't be on the pitch. He's doing blind flicks in the middle of the pitch and losing the ball. Come on, United. 8 minutes to go. 2-0 to Chelsea. I think Arsenal are winning it as well. Should have had a penalty. Should have had a penalty. Bruno. Casemiro tries a shot. Well, there's still time. What does a draw mean? It puts pressure on the Spurs and Chelsea game. That's what it does. Villa fans are heading out. Another loss could be the end of Gerrard. You know what? Newcastle have done nothing second half. Nothing. Nothing. That's the disappointing thing. I mean, how many clear-cut chances have we created again against the team that's basically low block? It's almost like Eddie Howe changed the way. Would keeping Gardner have made more sense, says DJ. This is absolutely painful. We need better players, says Rob. Same old issues. United. Well, if it stays 0-0, what's your general thought of the game? This reminds me of the West Ham game last year. I can smell a 90-minute winner, says Ronan, and I know that's what I'm sort of holding out for. Do you think we'll get top 6 this season? Hey, Jamie, I'm not negative here, but I don't think we're getting top 4. I don't think we're getting top 4 at all. No. Look, I said it on Thursday night. If a Cypriot team can come to Old Trafford for 90 minutes and keep us out, Newcastle can do it. Brighton can do it. Teams can come to Old Trafford. Would have been cool to see the 3 Brazilians start for United. It's too bad we have that piss-poor Stoke player playing in the centre, says Sean. You know what? I do think Fred was crap first half, but second half, Newcastle have just sat deep and we can't break them down. That's, you've got to look at a lot more than that there. Where's the overlaps from the fullbacks? We spoke about that before the game. Where's the runners? Where's the decoy runs? We're just not seeing that. We're not seeing crosses going into the box. We're so predictable. We're so easy to play against. I'm not joking. We are so easy to play against. Newcastle on the attack here. They might get their chance. Defence has played well again though. Varane, good interception. I feel sorry for Ten Hag. He's been let down by the players and the board. Glazers out, says Iron Wolf. Oh, I thought we'd scored. Rashford makes a good run. Oh, you know who it is. I don't know. It would have been the dream. I don't know whether we're going to get something from it. Rashford might have been offside anyway. He gets away, Rashford. He rounds the keeper. Should he go for the shots? No, cuts it back, and Fred misses the goal. From there, Rashford should have shot. He was offside anyway, I think. I would have, if I was Rashford there and I looked up and there's a tight angle to shoot at or there's a cut back to Fred, shoot. If you miss, people would still go, you shouldn't have cut it back to Fred. People are mistaken if they think Fred's been better second half. Newcastle are playing the low block and have given him time on the ball. Yeah, Sean, you're spot on. Second half change. I don't know why Newcastle changed, but second half they've changed their tactics. They've gone counter-attack. Maybe it's an energy thing, really. Do you player ratings? Ricky is right about the width. We play too narrow with the inverted wingers. Need to vary our game a bit. But if you played the game, you would know that, says K-Flow. Well, we just don't get any width, mate. We don't get any overlaps. Bruno's lost the ball. We're about to hit the 90th minute here. Don't forget to do your player ratings. March every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Match reaction straight after this. I think it's going to be a very interesting show to discuss. There's a lot of things to discuss. And ultimately, these are the sort of games where I've seen them over the years. I remember Wolves after Christmas a couple of years ago. We played absolutely shit. And then Rashford deflected one in and we won. West Ham last year, we win. These games are okay if you go and win them. But if you don't win them, they become a talking point. And I think they are going to become a talking point. I hate to say it, but I think a draw is a fair result here, says Simran. Mate, the only differential is the penalty. That is the only thing I can say. We have not had a clear-cut chance in the game, and they hit the post twice in the first half. So that's the only thing I can say that gets us the win, the penalty. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Apparently Madrid are winning 2-0. Another win for Chelsea. They're going to beat us next week. Chelsea will beat us next week. I'm afraid to say, this week, these 3 big games. I mean, these 3 games as well. We said these 3 games were going to be an indicator of where Man United are at, and I think we know where Man United are at. If we can't find a way of winning this game in the next few minutes, it just puts us big pressure against Spurs, who another team that know how to defend and counter. I mean, on Wednesday night, we've got bloody Son. Richarlison and Harry Kane on the break. Like, the teams get better by the week. We're playing our best team, basically. Oh, no, of course, Eriksen back's a big help, but... I mean, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that crosses into the box now, desperate crosses into the box, and Ronaldo's not on. We haven't got anybody in the box who can get on the end of a cross. All around the edge of the box at the moment. Love your content, Mark. Top bloke. Love from Australia, says Liam. Well, we've just been pissing around on the edge of the box there, and it's now back with De Gea. We just can't create anything. It just needs to go in off Pawson's arse here now. We just need to whack it, and it deflects off the referee's arse into the top corner. What a day! What a disappointing end to it. Well, I've got to go and watch Liverpool Man City after this, and it's so destroying when your team just can't get 3 points. These are the games you've got to win. I'm not joking. Newcastle's second half have just basically defended, and we can't break it down. Can I just say this as well? There'll be a lot to talk about in the match reaction, but you can clip this up if you like. One fucking substitution. One substitution. One substitution when you've played that shit. One substitution. You can make 5. And don't come at me with, well, he's got a lot of inexperience on the bench. You've got to make more than that. You've got, you know, the definition of an insanity is, we've seen it at United. You can't just keep doing the same thing and hoping and hoping. You've got to make a change. You've got to make a change. And people say, well, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can do something. You could bring Iqbal on. You could bring Palestri on. You could bring on Garnacho. Newcastle are basically defending. They're playing counter-attacking football. So to change it, try something. Try something a little bit different, because, you know, maybe we got the look on Thursday with McTominay. Maybe we've got something late on here, but we'll be very lucky if we do it again. Oh my Christ. Well, that was the chance. I'll tell you what, Ronaldo will be sat there going, finally we put a good cross in the box. Finally we get a good cross in the box. And it's Rashford's head instead of Ronaldo. That's why I wouldn't have took Ronaldo off. Because in the last 5 minutes, you've got to put crosses in. And the last person you want on the end of a cross is Rashford. He probably closed his eyes as well. Oh well. 0-0 for Manchester United. That's a good point for Newcastle. I think we could have played till next week and we still wouldn't have scored a goal. Crap performance from Manchester United, I'm afraid. And not a lot more we can say about that. Manchester United end up losing the game. Not losing the game. It feels like a bit of a loss, but it's not a loss for Manchester United. It's a draw. Right, we'll go into the match reaction then, won't we? That's what we're going to do. We're going to go straight into the match reaction. I will see you over there in a moment. Links in the video. Well, go to the homepage or it'll push you over there anyway. I'll see you over there in a moment.